You there? There he is.
Oh, here.
He's here.
There he is.
Hello
Right.
again, everybody. Boy, oh boy.
Oh, are we recording?
We are.
We are. We've been recording for the last hour or so.
Oh, right on.
Yep.
Welcome to the Y'all Yeah podcast.
True.
There you go.
We have to change music at this point.
All right. Very good, man. I'm back. It takes a little bit of effort to move around these days.
I understand. Yeah, we don't know how public you were about your last few days, Artie.
This is it. I'm going to reveal right now.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't really. I just told all my editors and things, but I just got out of the hospital about 3 days ago. Yeah, and last week I felt some pain. Felt like I just had to go to the bathroom real bad, but it felt unusual. So I did what everyone does, what all men do. They go and lay down.
True.
So that was on Friday. Then I slept.
You were texting us about I feel this and I feel that.
Yeah.
And it was just Scoot. Me, I think Mike was on the chat too, and me and Johnny and all of us are like, go to the hospital.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with your own problems in the past, and certainly my problems in the recent past, it's like, haven't we all learned? It's like, yeah, don't wait on this, man. But go ahead.
Yeah, and then I lay down and the pain went away. I was able to sleep a little and just lay down, and then I got up a few times Saturday, but eventually Sunday morning, Mother's Day, I woke up and I was like, nah, the pain, it's not going away. So everyone's making plans. My daughter's making cake, cookies, and they're baking things and opening gifts and all these Mother's Day things going on. And I said, I think I need to go to the hospital. And they're like, why? What happened? Because no one knew what was happening with me. I didn't really announce like, oh, I'm in pain. But so Gordy looked up my side was hurting, so he looked up on Google and he goes, Dad, I think you got to go. That's where your appendix is. So okay. So we went to the hospital and got the MRI, got blood tests, and met all kinds of doctors right away. And within 2 hours, I was in surgery, and they removed my appendix because all the doctors said it was inflamed. But then when I woke up, they said my appendix ruptured 48 hours ago. So I'm like, whoa, what's that mean? They said, the nurse said, if you waited another day, if you waited till tonight or Monday morning, you would have been a goner. Like, oh man. So it was another thing where whatever I get always wants to kill me. So it was rough, man. It was the first time I ever had surgery, but waking up out of that anesthesia.
You got a sister named Anesthesia.
Anesthesia. I got a cousin. She works over at the dollar store. But I got coming out of that thing, man, I was freaking out. I just kept asking. Like they said, I just kept asking, where are they? Where are they? And they're like, who? And I said, where's Audrey? Where's Audrey at? And they said, who's Audrey? I said, that's my girl. Where is she? Go get her. And they said, well, she's not here. And I said, why isn't she here? I was freaking out. And then I was asking, after they told me that if I waited another day, I would have died. I'm like, well, you saved me? And they're like, well, yeah. I said, where's the doctor? And he was right there, but I couldn't see him. So he stuck his hand in front of me, and I grabbed his hand with both hands and pulled it to my face. And just, I don't know if I kissed his hand. It was like you hold it to your forehead and just like, oh, thank you. But then the first thing I said, do you like the Cubs or Sox? And he says, well, sometimes the Sox, but I'm more of a Bears fan. I said, I like the Bears. I like the Bears too. You
know what I like about this whole thing is that Art is just as weird and out there when he's under anesthesia as when he's perfectly
it really
sober.
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
and they even said, wow, we would love to see you. What kind of drunk you are? What kind of how are you when you're drunk? Because he must be a happy drunk. I said, well, if I get drunk, all my friends get kisses. And you know that ones I love because they get kisses. The ones who don't get kisses, I'm sorry. It's my true feelings. And so I did have friends in the past say, hey, I didn't get any kisses. And I just look at him, well, yeah, I know.
Oh, it's a pretty good name. Exactly.
Yeah, and then I remember that because Jimmy the Muscle said, yeah, dude, you kissed me 5 times last night. So, yeah, I know. But they were so funny because I was messing around, not messing around, just talking. And asking the
waitresses,
nurses.
Yes.
I was going to say it.
Mermaids.
I like the waitresses.
I was thinking, I was asking them, so do you like Star Wars? And they're like, well, yeah. I said, do you like the new ones or the old ones? And they're like, new ones. I mean, the old ones. And I said, well, good, because those are the best ones. I started yelling about Star Wars, about Luke Skywalker, and they're like...
He's like Al Pacino, what do you want here? He's like, instead of a woman.
Star Wars, ooh-ah!
And I started yelling, and then when they said, I kept asking, where are they? I can't remember. I just remember the doctor told me later that I was real goofy, and I kept repeating myself a lot. I kept saying the same thing over and over. But then they asked me, I named all these names, a whole bunch of names, and they asked me, well, what's your wife's name? And I said, I don't know. I don't know what her name is. And they said, you don't know? I said, I don't call her, I call her my love. I never call her name. And they said, is her name Audrey? I go, no, that's my daughter. And they said, is her name Carolyn? I said, that's my mom. Why is that? And I started yelling, that's my mom's name. And they said, well, these other are men. Like, what? And they said, oh, her name's Rose. And I said, the first thing I said, her name is Rosario Baltasario. And they're like, what? Because that's what we always teach her. Her name is Rosario, but we always, I always write that on some Rosario Baltasario. And so I said, her name's Rose. And they're like, okay. I said, well, go get her. I started yelling. And so they were funny because they told me that a lot of times when teenage boys come out of the anesthesia and they throw punches, they want to fight. No, you want to fight.
That's hilarious.
And I was just crying. And they said I was real loving but crying and kind of like grateful and thankful. And I really was, especially after they said, yeah, it ruptured. And I asked the doctor, and I said, well, did you know that when you guys were talking to me after you got my scan? And they're like, oh, yeah. I said, you didn't tell me? He goes, nope. I'm like, oh, geez. That's why I know. 2 hours later, I'm having surgery. I would have been sooner, but the test took an hour to get. But when I told him to go get my wife, and it just so happened that the doctor just went out there and told my wife, he's just coming out of it. Come back in about an hour and a half, and he'll be in his room. And they said, well, you could go get something to eat or something. And then she said, no, I'll wait. And she said about less than 5 minutes, he came back. And he said, oh, he wants you in there. He's asking for you. And then she said, and don't worry, he's a little bit goofy. He's not acting normal, and he's kind of weird. And so she said, okay.
And Rose comes in and sees you and says, no, that's normal.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's him. That's him after dinner every night. Yeah, so it's funny.
The Joker when they threw him in the Lazarus pit. And instead, you should have been, all right, how do you feel? I feel fine. Thank you. How are you?
Fine. Yeah, this is normal. Exactly. This must be Tuesday.
Yeah, nice and relaxed and everything, yes.
So it was real weird. Like when she came in and she leaned, on the side of the bed, and I just grabbed her arm or whatever, and I looked at her and I felt like how in that Ang Lee Hulk movie when the Hulk saw Betty Banner and he melted, and then he calmed down. That's exactly what happened. I just calmed down, and then all of a sudden my thoughts. Everything was cool. Like I was normal. Like, oh my God, it was a bad trip,
like
but I was aware.
Yeah.
I was aware of it, and it was crazy, man. And then I started yelling too. When I was
this is why people when people say, have you ever tried drugs? No. I don't need to.
It was weird.
This is what it's like for me.
And that was funny. While I was yelling about my kids and Star Wars and White Sox and stuff, I started yelling, wow, why does my penis hurt? What did you guys do? I'm like, wow, and I started screaming. And they said, we had to put a catheter in there, sir. I'm like, why? Why? It hurt. And I'm screaming, because it did. Man, it was awful.
No, it is.
There's something in that hole.
There's a reason why they have commercials for the softer catheters and stuff like that. If you got
God, I would never recommend that.
Well, nobody does it by choice.
and
so tell me about these catheters.
Can you stone? I'm like, can you put one of those in for me?
I'm hearing good things. Can you do? Excuse me. Can you put a catheter in there?
Put an extra long one in there, real thick. Yeah.
Real thick.
But man, it was so bad, and
for her pleasure. No, not really. Not in this case.
But it was awful, and I went to, and when he said it burst 2 days ago. Before I even went, and then when I got to the room, they said, "Oh, you're not leaving till maybe Thursday." I'm like, what? It's only Sunday. So I got to sit in that room. Last time I was sick, it was like a hotel room, because the only thing that hurt was my leg, my ankle, my thigh, my calf. But this time, man, I was so messed up. I had the worst pain in my life in the last week. afford it. It was everything I did hurt.
You know anyone, Francis, ever had an appendectomy?
No, I've had kidney stones, which I've heard are pretty comparable.
Yeah.
And gallbladder. And gallbladder didn't hurt me as much as others, but recovery after surgery is, they cut you open.
Right.
So, you're dealing with that. Yeah.
Well, I had my hernia surgery a few years ago for my virginity, as we know. And that slowed me down for a week. And then, I was going to tell you my anesthesia story was... They told me in the recovery room, they're like, you were doing traffic reports while you were under. And it's funny because I do remember dreaming that I was, and I could hear myself talking, and they were cracking up. They're like, that was fantastic. They're like, you're telling us that everything's fine on the East, there's no delays on the Kennedy? Traffic, weather.
Weather, sports all day.
Doctors in that operating room were like, geez, this guy never shuts up.
He's out here. No, you can't have any dead air,
Well, every now and then I have those kind of crazy dreams where I am on the air and I don't have the information, and so I'm like, I better fake it. And now traffic, here's John Sanchez.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, there's no delays on the Kennedy. The Eisenhower's looking free, and I'm like literally like just scrambling trying to get stuff. It's like, I don't know. You have bad DJ dreams like that, or when I was a DJ that the song wouldn't play, or I wasn't ready with the next song, so it'd be dead air.
Yeah.
Oh no, dead air! What's wrong with you? The boss wants to see you. No. So yeah, very scary dreams.
Man, it's so awful. And the kids were. It was funny. They came to visit me, and I didn't. I was naked all the whole time, just with that robot, that HAP robe. Because the incision's like rut. It's like if you lived on the 3rd floor and your friend was on the 2nd floor, you could meet on floor 2.5.
Yeah, it's like
that's where the incision is.
John Malkovich, where they got that floor in between floors where everybody's hunched over working.
Yes. So it's better not to have a ceiling so you can poke your head through.
Yes.
Yeah. So everybody at least 15 people have seen all my
full Artie.
The Twits and Barry, whatever they call it.
The Kevin Bacon, the full Bacon.
Yeah, they've seen all of it. Yeah, and the kids were laughing and said, "What did you do?"
If you will.
And the first time, like when you're in the hospital on the weekend, I learned that the first time too is you get all of the young nurses who are just finished school, or you get the weekend, and so they're all like girls.
Yeah.
And they're young girls, and that I feel like. It's not the hotness of it. It's the this is somebody's daughter thing.
I hear you, man. No, I know.
They're really young.
I felt very old.
And I'm very proud. I'm very proud of them that they're pursuing a nursing career. But I needed assistance just going to the bathroom, and I had to. Peeing was it was like turning into the Ghost Rider. Like if I had that Hellfire with Hellboy's Hand of Doom, like helping me out, and it was like a scorch when that guy with the mustache said, "So they call you the Ghost Rider." Well, they said that to my tenants, and so twice a day they go, "Fire up," and I yelled out, like I was dying.
Next time we'll have Sam Elliott help you pee. I understand.
So it's funny because the girl will come in and said, "Well, it seems like I have to check to make sure you're not infected or whatever." Sure. All these words, oozing pus or whatever. Yeah, I said, okay, but I'm sorry, I apologize. She goes, no, we've seen everything.
We've seen worse.
Okay. Yeah, and it was funny how
we've seen bigger.
Yes, I was like, yeah. Well, and I told her I'm not at my best right now, and she said that's okay. And so I'm like, oh man, this is weird. And she took the rubber glove, put it on, and I felt the one finger lift. She did the lift and looked 1 second, and like, okay, you're fine. Like, oh, that was kind of weird. But I had all the nurses, everyone who came in had to do something like that, and I'm like, oh, come on. And so one made me laugh because the girl was gonna put the nurse. She was gonna put the cream. She had some kind of cream on her finger.
Can you start at the beginning and just say it again a little slower and a little more breathy, please? Go on.
Wow.
Exactly.
So she had the purple rubber Joker glove it was on, and she put that on her. And she said, "Okay, I'm going to put this on you." And I'm like, "Oh, wait. You want me to do that?" And she didn't hesitate. Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
She didn't say.
I prefer not to look at it either, if that's okay.
And I said, "I can do it. I know where it hurts." She goes, "Okay." And then I was like, "Whew." So I didn't have to. I was able to apply my own treatment after, which was kind of good. And then, yeah, it was kind of weird.
Hey, they charge $50 more in most places that I know. Hey, Wait a minute.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Wait a minute.
So it was weird, man, because they had me on that IV, and I remember your text telling me, enjoy the drugs. And the first time I had the drugs was cool, because I'm just sitting back like that when Dumbo got drunk with the pink elephant.
Sure.
It wasn't even that. It was more like, did you guys see Madagascar when that lion gets hit with the tranquilizer?
Yeah.
And he freaks out. It was like that. I was like, oh, this is cool.
I felt like Mick and Tom from David Bowie songs when I was tripping.
Yeah. Or it was like Yellow Submarine. Like that cartoon,
Exactly.
The Blue Meanie. It was weird. But then the second time, man, they put more, and man, I was hallucinating. I didn't know where I was. I was hearing the TV, but I was imagining other things. And in my dream, I was in an elevator with three bald fat guys that had like black and red striped shirts.
Hey, that's not fair. We came to visit.
Hey.
I didn't know, and I freaked out. I was doused in sweat, and it was so weird. And then my wife saw me panicking, so she tried to wake me up, and I didn't recognize her. It was so weird. I didn't know where I was, who I was.
Did the nurses at least sponge off the sweat, unlike when they did with me, when they were dabbing at me like I was, with like a cocktail napkin?
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
I
enough, isn't it?
remember.
You're okay now. Well, I don't know. I'm still sweating in my sweat, but sure.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
They had to get me out of it, and so that's the last IP painkillers, and then I just switched to pills, and it's much better after no more hallucination. Man, now I know, man. It was so weird. Oh man.
Now you know what Johnny's been through for the last year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hey man. Well, no, and Artie, I was surprised to hear that was your first operation because I thought with your leg thing before, I figured they probably had to cut that out.
No, with the leg, the wound was open, so all of the meds pushed the bacteria out of it, so it was oozing.
Oh, that's great.
So
that's great.
Yeah, when that happened, like all the
it's true.
all the professional bacteria people, they're real excited because they're like, "Ooh, we could see what it is." And there was like 4 people, and they all had clipboards.
So wait, the wound was on your leg, but they were all coming in with the gloves to lift your penis?
No, that was this.
Oh, that was the second one. Okay.
And so the first time with the leg, and I remember one of the girls. She looked like Amy Farrah Fowler from The Big Bang Theory, but with black hair and real skinny, real small little girl. And she came and looked at me real close to my face, and she said to me, "Would you mind if we scrape this to get a culture? This is fascinating." I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead."
Sure, dude.
And she now we could really see what bacteria is trying to kill you. I'm like, "Yeah, go do it." And so that was when they were able to save me with the right antibiotic. Yeah, because 2 days before then, they didn't know what it was, and so that or whatever it was. But finally, that's what saved me. That's what got me better. But they weren't there this time. But it was different this time, man. It was just not fun. It was miserable.
Of course.
I had my sketchbook with me. I couldn't even draw. I couldn't even think of anything.
I was going to say, I bet it's tough to concentrate when you're in that much pain. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
How could you think of anything when your mind was thinking of all that other stuff on the
drug?
Yeah,
it was tricky, man. It was.
Well,
I wish that could be something that went a little too far for that. That was beyond getting like a little buzzed or something.
Well, I was on anti-anxiety drugs when I was in because, really, especially the first couple of weeks when they're like, okay, we should be able to save your leg. We should, but we're not out of the woods yet. And it's like, okay, listen, I'm really kind of dealing with a lot right now. Can I please have some, I don't want to, no, it's sitting on your mind. And you're just sitting there in the bed. So you kind of needed it. And thank God I did, because it wasn't a buzz. It was just like, it did what it was supposed to do. And it helped me focus and not, dwell on the worst and get through the day. And it was like, okay, but it was weird because, again, I know you were there, several days. I had my tablets with me, and so I couldn't even watch. I couldn't watch anything new. I put on a bunch of earbuds.
Oh, I
don't
see,
know if did you try to watch like any TV or anything while you were there? Or?
I tried. I watched a lot of baseball.
There you go.
I even watched the Cubs games. Yeah,
that's funny. I watched the Bears games when I was in.
Yeah,
so I can appreciate.
I saw every game. Yeah, so luckily there was 2 games on a day, and they always replayed it. One channel replayed it, so I just watched a lot of baseball.
Okay.
And it was kind of good. It got the time. I watched Wendy Williams every day. That was cool.
Hot topic.
And then I watched Big Bang Theory and that Charlie Sheen show. So that I watched some stuff, but I just got bored. And when I got there Sunday, I didn't the last time I slept was Saturday, and the next time they let me sleep was Monday afternoon, and I was awake for at least 40 hours, 30, and that's why I was hallucinating too.
Sure.
With the drugs.
Totally.
And then they asked me, when did you sleep? I'm like, no. They said, when's the last time you slept? I was like, Saturday. Like, this 4 days ago, 3 days ago. I go, yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't ask you that earlier than that. I mean, it is tough when they keep coming in every couple hours to run tests and everything.
Yeah, because every hour, I get 3 visits. There's 3 nurses or 3 people, and they each come in once an hour. So it's kind of like every 15 minutes I'm getting interrupted by a new person. And so they give me blood tests and then insulin injections and new IV, and it's constant. And I was going batty, or like I was like George Bailey. I was just watching Wonderful Life. He said, I'm going off my nut. That's what he said. So I went off my nut. Yeah.
You
luckily
went there to save Brother Bear. What now?
Luckily that wasn't happening to you, because they kept coming in to check that your nut was still there.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the nuts. Yeah, but
didn't Francis Scott Key write a song about his nut still being there? Thank you.
Maybe. Jose, can you see?
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
Thank you. How you doing?
But it was
Very good, Artie. Yeah, boy.
The path that led to the nuts wasn't damaged. but it was. I've yet to.
That should be the title of your autobiography, Artie. The Path to the Nut.
The path to the nuts is damaged, but I'm okay now. And the worst. Oh my God! I've been home Thursday. And then they said, oh, we'll see you at doctor appointment Monday. So I was home since last Thursday. It's Tuesday right now. So yesterday I had the doctor appointment to remove the tube that was sticking. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It was horrible. And it was, I had this tube that was leaking. This little tube leaks, and I got this little pocket. Looks almost like a ball, like a rubber ball. And it just fills up with fluids every day, and I just had to empty it once a day, and it was nasty. It looks like Kool-Aid is in there, and it was nasty. I hated it. I hate all of this because I'm real squeamish with needles or injuries or blood, and I can't take it, and I freak out a lot in the hospital.
You're not alone.
Yeah,
freak out a lot in the hospital. You freak out a lot when we're at a convention.
Yeah, like guys walk in the bathroom with bare feet. I I can't.
That is gross. That is pretty bad.
I can't do it. So I went to the doctor, and I'm laying on the thing, and he said, I'm going to remove the tube. I'm like, okay, is it going to hurt? And he went, it may sting a little. I said, okay, just let me know when you're going to do it. And he goes,
numbing gel around? Maybe they can't in that area or something. Because with my wound, they always put, thank God, they put lidocaine on my wound, which really did, numb it, thank God. Early on, they did have to scrape without it, and I was screaming. So were you screaming, sir?
Yeah.
It's okay, you can't.
He said, 3, 2, zip, pull it out. And my wife was there. She said the tube was about 2 feet long.
For real?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, why? It's like it's only a few inches from my belly button to where this thing used to be.
Wow.
And I'm like, why? Why is it so? And then he went, all right, you'll start feeling better. He pulled the thing out, and I yelled out so much.
Sure.
And I was crying. I was in tears, and I was holding the tenants because they wanted to move out on their own. So I'm holding them in place. So everything, it's like if somebody reached into your lower abdomen and pulled on that tube that you like to pee through, and just pulled it from the inside.
Oh, wow, that's like Indiana, the shaman in Indiana Jones when he pulls the guy's heart out or whatever.
Yeah.
So no, I understand. Whoa, wow. Well, you see.
Oh man, it was the worst thing.
Forgive me for keep referring to my stuff because when I was at my most painful parts, that's when this one really adorable podiatrist, total girl next door, and believe me, I know my place. But she's like, "Oh, Mr. Suntress, I'm so sorry. Can I hug you?" I'm like, "Yeah, all right." I'm like, "Sure." And it's seriously it's funny. I saw her today. I've seen her in my recovery, and she always gives me the biggest hug. She's like, "Oh, Mr. Suntress, I'm so glad." And she goes, "I was so worried about you when you were in the hospital." I'm like, yeah, thanks. Honestly, I'm like, that's very sweet, Rachel. Thank you very much. You're a nice lady.
Yeah.
You're a nice little girl. She's 32. She's a kid in my world.
Yeah,
that's the thing. She's very sweet, but I'm like, yeah, I go, that's nice. So I'm sorry. That was my little interlude about
But it's okay because I Sonny is 33. My son is he's 33, so anyone younger than him is out of range.
Oh yeah,
now,
I respect them, and I respect, and it's half of me always wants to call them kids, and I always tell them oh, I'm so sorry, guys.
Right.
I don't mean to disrespect. You're a doctor, for God's sake. And no, Rachel's and I call them by their first names. I don't know if you with you.
Oh, I call them all doctor. Even the nurses.
I feel like we're all on the same team. So it's like, all right, Jason, what's going on? What's happening? Tell me what's happening here. Rachel, okay. Dan, fine.
When they save my life, they deserve that doctor.
Oh, no,
I
respect it.
Dr. Ryan, Dr. Patel. Yeah. And it's funny because one of the doctors, when I was in the hospital, he cleared me, and the other guy wouldn't clear me till I pooed. So I had to wait another 2 days.
Yeah,
this is taking forever.
But then as soon as you go number 2, it's like, okay, get out of here.
Yeah, I want to go.
No, they want you to go. It's like, all right, he went to the bathroom. The plumbing's working. Get out.
And the bad thing is, like, after I had the bathroom, like, oh, good, I could go now. And they're like, oh, yeah, 4 more hours. You have this last antibiotic IV to finish in 4 hours. Like, oh,
I thought it was going to be paperwork, because that's what, like, they told me, okay, you're leaving today. And it was like 8 in the morning, and I literally didn't leave till like 6 that night. And I'm like, come on, let's go.
Now, once I cleared that bag, I just said I could go, and then they let me go.
Awesome.
And it's cool because I made friends with all of the nurses.
Exactly.
You get to know them.
Yes.
And they all knew what I did. And once they said, because I had the sketchbook, and they're like, what is that? Is that your coloring book? I'm like, no, it's a sketchbook. And they all wanted to look at it. And of course, it's all notes, thumbnails, and there's no real drawings, but there's all ideas. And they're like, wow, what is this? What do you do? And I told them, and they're like, and they sit down. They pull the chair up, and then they sit and talk a little bit. And so everyone knew what I was doing. And I was real concerned about this this book expo I'm going to, because I got all these meetings. And the book expo stuff's like, man. But I got cleared yesterday.
That's great, man.
The doctor said I could go. And he told me, bring a little bag. He said, no backpacks. And he said, give the taxi guy an extra $5 to take your luggage out of the trunk. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's that whole thing about like that happened after I got the Verjun surgery. They're like, don't lift anything.
Yeah, the same thing with the with the gallbladder when it came out. Nothing heavier than a gallon of milk.
Exactly. For like a month. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's good.
When they told me that, I was thinking, when did they come up with that criteria? Did like Joe Schmo just get an operation and went to the grocery store and oh crap, he got the gallon of milk?
Years ago, they were bottles when they get delivered every day. Yeah. Did they say it then too?
Exactly. No, I
maybe he said nothing heavier than a block of ice.
Don't you think it was probably like a little consultant's moment with all the doctors? All right, how can we put this in layman's terms?
Yeah.
Say a quart of milk isn't that heavy.
Well, I'm thinking Joe went to the grocery store right after his operation, and he was going to get the half gallon, but he decided to go with the gallon, and the doctors are like, oh, see, we got to tell people now.
Yeah,
that's the limit.
Broke a stitch, popped a stitch.
Oh.
Yeah.
A rupture down there.
It's rough, man.
Well, that's because I went for the 2 gallons. I see. You should have stayed with 1 gallon there, Skipper. All right. It's my Norman Rockwell doctor speak. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good. And I'm glad you can go to the library thing, so that's cool.
Yeah, I'm good. I got to walk slow, but luckily the schedule's not too bad. It's only an hour a day at the Paper Cuts booth. So
there you go.
Sign books.
With our friend Jim Southrup, absolutely.
And I got a few. Yeah, Gilbert and more Gilbert and hopefully more stuff. And
cool.
They're going to help meet more publishers. So I'm going to do some schmoozing, but some light schmooze. But I got some meetings, and that's cool. And the meetings is why you go,
Of course.
And we're going to meet with DC Comics, so that's cool. And
I have a signing on Friday with DC.
Oh, cool.
Are you doing the library thing as well, Francis?
Yeah, this is a book expo. Yeah.
Book expo?
Yeah.
Where's it at? What city?
It's
New York.
New York City.
Oh, lovely.
Javits. So I booked all my. Once he approved me, I went and booked my extra night at the hotel and my airfare, and so I'm going. It's going to be good.
Is this the same convention that was in Chicago a couple of years ago?
Yeah. Okay. So it's at McCormick in 2020 and 21. It's going to be at McCormick again.
Oh, that's great. Because I'll definitely go.
Yeah, and it's worth it, man. Because now it's different. Like I'm sure we could get an artist alley table, but I kind of like having the freedom of walking around and schmoozing, and leaving it. I make a flyer for them to see my stuff.
It's an industry show rather than. I mean, you can. I know they do let the public in, but it's primarily an industry show.
Well, it's divided into 2, so it's Book Expo, which is the first few days, and then Friday or Saturday turns into Book Con.
Yes,
so the public is allowed into the con.
Okay, that makes sense.
And you could buy the book. So I got signings for Gilbert then too, and that's cool because I really look forward to seeing what the book people think of Gilbert, because so far all of I got was my fans, but I know my fans are gonna. I know my fans are but I'm looking to see what the general public, people who don't know me, is going to be. So I'm looking forward to that, like selling it to actual book people. So it's going to be fun, and that's cool. and it's so weird too because like I got a little bit of a break because I emailed all my publishers, everyone I'm working with, tell them what happened. And the scariest thing in the email is always like my appendix ruptured 2 days before I didn't know it. So, and they're like, all right, take your time, don't worry. So I got clearance from a lot of publishers. So, but it's good because I sit down to work and I'm only good for like 2 hours. It's like, oh man, I'm done. I'm sweating already. I got to go back lay down or sit on a couch or something. So it's weird, but I'm good.
Attaboy.
I feel good, man.
I'm letting Scoot know. He just chimed in. He's still trying to get Oliver to sleep, and I texted back and I said, "No problem, Artie's on."
Yeah, his little guy's active nice, 3-year-old.
Well, exactly. Oh yeah, God, he walks right up. I mean, I was talking to Scoot on Sunday after I talked to you, Artie. I called Scoot for a little.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
And Art, Oliver's like right there. Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah, he's
That's
cool.
Johnny.
Yeah,
Johnny's kind of an idiot, but you'll like him. It's okay. That's my Scoot imitation. Thank you. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah.
I love that that's his phrase. That's his catchphrase. And it reminds me of Francis will know this guy. There's a New York sportscaster that was also a network guy from CBS, Warner Wolf. And before he retired, he's like, I coined the phrase, let's go to the videotape for instant replay.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's like, I invented that. And it's like, that's like saying I invented, hey, can you shut off the light? I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't think you can coin that. But okay. I don't know how else you can do it, but okay. Mr. Wolf.
He got arrested like about 8 months ago.
Okay.
I think.
Really? That guy
Warner Wolf, let's go to the videotape. He got arrested because he lives in a gated community in Florida.
Yes.
And
so they have a security videotape of him getting arrested?
I think the name of the gated security, don't quote me on this, you can look it up, but the name of the gated security was something like the Plantation or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he refused.
No. Artie, there are pineapple plantations in Hawaii. Doesn't matter.
Right.
I'm sorry. I throw the flag on that one. No. I'm sorry. That's a sidetrack. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know if that's the exact name of it, okay? But it was something of that iteration.
Is that the inference that it shouldn't be called plantation?
Right. And that he was so annoyed that he went and ripped down the letters from the marquee in the front and got arrested or something like that.
He was incensed by it being called the plantation.
Or whatever.
It's called plantation.
You gotta look this story up. I'm sorry, and again, maybe I'm not liberal enough, but I'm sorry if you got a problem with the phrase plantation. That's kind of a global description of a freaking farm. I almost swore.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
Right, but it does.
Oh yeah, we're not in Franco.
Artie, I respect that point of view. I disagree. I disagree. I think again, that's when I think it's like. In fact, Tracy Ullman on the BBC apparently recently just did a comedy sketch where she's a group therapist, kind of like an Endgame, but everyone in the circle, they're all millennials that are woke and find every phrase that she says just innocuous phrases that that's really kind of anti-elderly or whatever, and they find a problem with everything she says. But that could be taken the wrong way, and it's like, look, you gotta.
I probably only had that. Probably had that reaction. It's not me who was offended, but I had that reaction because of the way the climate or the world is now.
I respect that.
People react. Yeah, that's all it was. All right. But I'm sure I said that word many times.
But I don't think. Again, I think it describes the farm, and it's not every plantation is with a bunch of indentured people. So that's
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta find this now. Warner Wolf.
I want to say hire them as employees. Then
There's a thing that says Warner Wolf Plantation for a subject. Okay, here we go.
What's the name of the place? We can get that out of the way right now.
You got to see his mugshot. Jeez, he looks.
So he got arrested.
Oh my!
So why did he get arrested?
Here's the story. This is I want to do the proper. This is from Fox News in Florida. So it's a Fox News story by Amy Lou. Longtime sportscaster Warner Wolf, 81, turned himself in Thursday for removing the letters of the word plantation from a Florida community sign on November 30th. Wolf turned himself in Thursday for the breaking off the letters from the Classics Plantation Estates sign in East Naples, Florida on November 30th. He had his opinions on how it was a racist word, and he didn't feel it should be in the name of a community, although plenty of communities throughout Florida use that name, property manager Ken Heff told the Naples Daily News. The arrest report also said Wolf found the word offensive because of its historic context. Wolf hopped into the community's fountain and used a tool to take down the word, the station reported. Citing the arrest report, he drove up to the gate at the community on December 13th and handed the security guard the broken plantation letters with instructions to give them to the property manager, the arrest report said. He faces a felony charge of criminal mischief, that's according to the county sheriff's report. Wolf was released from bail after posting a $5,000 bond. He was formerly the play-by-play announcer for Monday Night Baseball on ABC in the 70s. He appeared in the 1985 film Rocky IV, playing himself. He was the play-by-play man as we had the death of Apollo Creed. He was the color man.
Hit him in the plantation.
He was the color man. More recently, Wolf did sports reports for former...
He was the color man. I find that
exactly.
racist.
Oh, that's racist.
And it's great. It says,
so it was a color plantation?
More recently, Wolf did sports reports for former radio host Don Imus, and the final paragraph goes, he's known for the catchphrase, let's go to the videotape. But I really wish that there was, live, ironically, let's go to the videotape and watch Warner Wolf take down the plantation.
That'd be funny, yeah.
Oh, my God.
And if him with handcuffs, walking like Mike Tyson.
He should be reporting his own perp thing. Kind of like, as I always say, my favorite thing in the early 70s was when Ernie Banks was the sportscaster on WGN's local news, and it was while he was playing for the Cubs. And literally, it would be like, okay, well, the Cubs were in action against the Cardinals today. Things looked mighty tough for the Cubs until yours truly stepped up to the plate in the 7th inning. And they cut to the video, and he'd call his own home run things. It's like, look at that. Look at me. I just hit a home run. We won. Back to you. And it's like, that's awesome, man. It's like a superhero. I put Lex Luthor away earlier. Let's go to the, as Warner Wolf would say, let's go to the videotape.
As an aside, I said something to one of my students the other day about, did you videotape that or something like that? And they're like, what? Like, what?
Exactly.
They didn't even know what that was.
Let's turn to our Victrolas and hear that fine recorded sound that Edison provided us. Thank you.
It's funny, too, now when you hear news people look at video, and they always say, and the whole thing was caught on tape. And it really wasn't caught on tape because it's all digital on your phone.
Absolutely.
So I wonder what they're going to say to that when that's going to get old. Like when people are going to say, "What? Why did he say tape? What's tape?"
Well,
generational. They'll age out of it.
Yeah, the next generation will be, let's go to the digitalis.
Exactly.
Digitalis, VCRs.
DPD.
DPDs.
Oh man, 4K. How do they call 4K on the Spanish?
4K. I don't know. I haven't been shopping in a while. Where I always hear the review, buddy.
Bob Burnett always talks on his YouTube show about getting not only the Blu-ray but the 4K Blu-ray or whatever. So he's very much about hard media and loves 4K. And I remember last time I took the Liefeld. Liefeld was all.
I love 4K.
All about the 4K stuff. Exactly.
That's what spooning leads to.
4K.
Leads to,
there's that
spooning.
That's right.
You're making a knife because you're a cut up.
It totally does.
Because spooning leads to forking.
Interesting. Like Van Forster.
All right, go ahead. We can edit that out.
I like every minute of that. Again, can you repeat that but sit slower and a little breathier, please? Dear Pet House Forum, I never knew 4K was true until the following happened to me.
Until she came in with a glove and said, I need to lift
it. Did you guys see, I know this is slightly boxing, but it's Muhammad Ali. Did you guys see the Muhammad Ali documentary on HBO?
My wife recorded it for me.
It's amazing. Amazing. It's so good. I was relieved. But Anton Fuqua, he's a great director.
Fuqua.
I'm a big fan of his. Yeah. No, really. I mean, and he comes from a great media family and stuff. All the Harvey Fuqua and all the Fuquas back in the day. We're back to 4K talk. I understand when we're talking about Fuqua. But he did a great job on the documentary. It's 3 hours. It's two 90-minute parts.
I got it recorded. Excellent. And I'm anxious.
Yeah, I want to.
This weekend
hear what you think. Yeah, when you relax this weekend.
And this weekend is the pay-per-view of wrestling, AEW, Double or Nothing. Yeah, with the Young Bucks and those wrestling. Johnny, you won't know.
Well, Young Bucks is that Kazarian and Daniels these days?
Those are the Kazarians. They're on there too. They're called SEU. So SoCal. What's the U? Oh, uncensored. SoCal uncensored. But they're on there. Yeah, SEU.
They change their names more than like mobsters on the run. You know.
Yeah.
AKA.
Yeah, they change it until it hits with the crowd, and now when they walk in the room, everyone goes SCU. So
that's funny.
This one's stuck. Yeah, this one's good.
Fun. No, hey man, I'm rooting for them. I like them both. They're nice guys. But that just always kills me. It's like, what are they now? What happened to whatchamacall? All right.
Yeah, and I think they're fighting a triple tag team with some Japanese wrestlers with they're wearing masks. They look like luchadors. So I don't know if they're luchadors are from Japan. I don't know.
So there is still a third member of Daniels and Kazarian now.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Scorpio Scott.
Yeah, Scorpio Scott.
Okay. Yeah. He's a nice guy,
That's
man.
cool.
I met him. He was real cool. And I didn't expect him to be nice.
Are you going to put him in the next comic book if you guys do it?
Yeah, if I get it, yeah. I put him in a poster. I made a poster and a T-shirt for him. They used the poster as a shirt, I think. But
sure.
Yeah, I'll put him in there. But I got to get. There's a lot I got to do.
I understand. Well, yeah.
I'm falling behind him.
Well, that's why honestly I'm glad you were up to doing this. I kind of figured that it wouldn't be too stressful, and you can get your story out and everything. And it's a good
my chair my chair that I work in is very comfortable for my injuries, and it's probably the most comfortable chair in the house that I could sit and not be
in the basement.
So that's kind of yeah.
Okay, because I wasn't sure. That's why even when I text you, I'm like, you can pod on your iPhone if you want.
It's true.
So,
Yeah, it's clear.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yes.
It's good. So I'm looking forward to it.
I saw Captain Marvel. We don't have to get into it because I know Artie still hasn't seen it. I thought it was fine, and certainly coming off of the spectacle of Endgame, it's, kind of in the same way that Ant-Man and the Wasp, although I saw that before Endgame, that it was fine. It was good. But it wasn't, it didn't blow me away. But I liked it. I thought it was a really fun sci-fi movie from an action standpoint, and I loved how much Nick Fury was in it. And I'm cool with Brie Larson. She's cool.
Did you like the lady?
I like Brie Larson. I like the lady.
She wasn't cedar plank.
Well, she was a bit, and this is what keeps me going. Oh my god, it was amazing. She was a little one note.
Yeah, right.
And that was a little, and I felt that same note now thinking back to the way she was portrayed in Endgame, and it is
right.
Well, you go back to Heath Ledger's quote from Dark Knight. Why so serious? And it's like, and then she had a couple moments where she smiled, or as she was regaining her memory.
Even that was like very piney.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Let's see what happens in a second movie.
It was very birchy.
Yeah, but I liked how they opened the door for Rambeau and Photon.
Oh, did they? Cool.
Yeah,
because I hope that
Rambo,
the next one, like I said before, like it would be cool if they introduced Rogue as the villain, and then you could bring in X-Men that way, and then it would be cool if she passes on the powers to Rambeau. That would be cool.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But again, I like the way everything's set up. That was fine. And yeah, I mean, again, it was a different Nick Fury origin story than our classic Nick Fury, or even what we know even about the Ultimate Universe Nick Fury leading to Samuel L. But all that said, it's like, all right, whatever. I mean, that's fine. A movie can have its own continuity. I'm cool with that. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. And then it's funny, Artie, before you were on, at the beginning, I was talking about Season 4 of Supergirl that just wrapped up. And I won't spoil it all. But it was great, and they really did some great tributes to earlier super stories, and I think they did a really good job. And I like the way they're handling the Legion of Superheroes for the last couple of years as well.
Oh, nice. They're on there now?
Well, yeah, Monel showed up in the second season, and ever since then they've expanded since. And, without going into detail, Brainiac 5 has been a regular for like the last 2 years.
Oh,
and it's cool, and he's good, and he's very different from the comics. I always thought, did you ever watch Alias with Sidney Bristow and Jennifer Garner when it was on ABC?
I'm going to go with no.
Okay, well, Bradley Cooper, that was his first big, major exposure, and he was...
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was like boy next door who was like Jennifer Garner's like lifelong friend, but secretly was in love with her, and was kind of always like pining for her. And I always felt Brainiac 5 was like that with Supergirl.
Yeah, he was always in love with her.
But also kind of
comics.
but not in a like manly, like kind of take charge.
No, like a crush.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and this the characterization of Brainy in Supergirl, the TV show, is very different, and it's not even he has a romantic interest. It's not Supergirl, but he's played much more arrogantly and confidently than I was used to as far as 70s and pre-crisis Brainy, if you will. Which I always like. I mean, again, I've loved from the first Legion of Superhero stories I ever read. I love the Legion. Love the Legion.
Such a Christ.
And,
okay, guys, I'm back. Well, we can start the pod now.
Oh, there he is.
What do you guys want to talk about? I'm ready to go. Let's start.
You went to the bathroom before we started. That took a long time.
Jeez.
I said I'd be back, and I didn't lie.
There you go. It's his catchphrase. Let's go to the videotape of Scoop coming right back. I was just telling the guys I finally saw Captain Marvel.
I'll be right back. No, I heard all that. I got on before that. I just didn't interrupt.
What'd you think?
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's there.
What do you think of what Franco? Do you think she was kind of one note?
Yeah, I did.
Right.
I liked the movie overall.
Yeah,
It was very mapley, right? I like the movie. I like the story. I don't know.
I wanted to like it more. But
I didn't dislike her. So, I mean, that's why I'm like, okay. And again, I thought it was a good sci-fi adventure. I thought it was a really interesting sci-fi adventure. And I love the way they did the Skrulls. Yeah. Now we are kind of spoiling it.
Yeah, I liked all the twists and turns and everything. It was good.
And the Kree. I liked all the Kree stuff. And, I mean, I get, although I don't, it doesn't make me angry and make me want to throw things, but they really did excise out Marvel, like the original idea of Marvel from the movie. And I
know one of my friends, Marvel, is his favorite character, so I haven't talked to him.
Sure. Oh, I can imagine. And it's funny, there's one of my podiatrists that I see every week. He actually wasn't in today when I went for my appointment. And I was telling Rachel that
Rachel, literally.
Beck. My string of Peloponnese. No, she's like, yeah, Dan's not here. He's going to be bummed that you saw Captain Marvel and you haven't been here. He's been dying to tell somebody. She goes, I don't even watch the Marvel movies. And Dan couldn't help himself. He had to tell us what bothered him about Captain Marvel. And I'm like, oh my God. So, I'm looking forward to hearing.
There's people out there that don't watch them.
I know, isn't that crazy? And she's 32. She's a doll. She's seriously. I was telling the guys when really I was at my lowest emotional despair. And they're like, well, we're going to try and save your leg. We're not sure if we'll be able to or not. And I'm like, oh, my God. And she's like, oh, Mr. Sanchez, I'm so sorry. Can I hug you? I'm like, yeah. She's a nice-looking young lady. And they're doctor.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what they send in.
Exactly.
When people.
Exactly. I don't know, but honestly.
Room 32, he's crying.
Seriously, every time I see her, she immediately goes, oh, Mr. Sanchez, I'm so glad you're doing better. I'm like, Rachel, thank you very much. You're very nice about that. I really, really appreciate it. And that's what I like. I don't want to, not, again, I feel bad because, all these people are like, all right, she's hugging him. What the hell? And it's like, it's like, all right, I don't want to be rude. And I am truly appreciative.
Johnny yells at her. That's not a condolence.
No, not that at all. No, quite the opposite. I mean, I'm very flattered that she was that concerned and has this connection to me. I'm like a puppy that she found. Oh, Mr. Sanchez, I'm so glad we made you better. I'm like, it's all right. I'm like Old Yeller. Only I don't die at the end, thank God. Old Yeller 2. That's when he comes back.
Good.
And he's pissed. They should do a zombie. All right, Disney, zombie Old Yeller. It is on the table waiting for you. Why aren't you picking this up?
You should have said that off the air, Johnny, so we could have pitched it to him.
They own it. Are you kidding? They'd cut us out immediately. That's what they do.
We're friends with them.
We know a lot of Disney people. It's true. The mouse. We've been on the right side of the mouse.
They employed me for a while.
Yeah.
What's Mickey Mouse's birthday?
Gorilla.
What's that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Why'd you ask me about Hitler? It's World War II.
Ask me about Hitler. That's awesome.
That's what the guy said to me, yelled at me. And they're like, what the hell did you... What? They didn't say that. They said, what did you ask that guy? I said, I asked him your trivia question that you told me to ask him. So he yelled at me.
For God's sake!
They didn't want me to say... Hey, how you doing? How's it going? What's up, guys? They don't want to say, no, you have to say hello. Welcome to the Disney store. Oh, it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, it's going. Come on in. That's what
you and Scott Snyder get to swap like Disney war stories because he was at Disney World, and I think he was a character, but I know he on Fat Man on Batman, he went into detail about his time at Disney and that's like Disney bucks and stuff, and Disney's bucks like are worth more money. You get paid cash, but you can also get paid Disney bucks, and I don't know what the difference is. Let's say, $100, about $100 in regular money. It's like $120 in Disney bucks or something like that. So it's like that Tennessee Ernie Ford song. I owe my soul to the company store. You know that song?
Oh yeah, that song. No,
that's that song. You get 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. It's an old 50s song. All right, never mind.
I've heard of it.
Never you mind.
I like
the part when Captain Marvel starts singing 16 tons. I like that part in the 90s.
Yeah,
and she's got a Nine Inch Nails t-shirt and she jumps in a Blockbuster. I like it.
And I heard that 9 Inch Nails t-shirt was a bootleg t-shirt she was wearing.
Well, it's not her fault. I mean, it's like, all right,
Yeah, they told her, here, wear this.
I think 9 Inch Nails said it's okay. Don't seriously, I do think that was a response. Unlike Warner Wolf with The Plantation. That kills me. Let's go to the videotape.
Oh, yeah.
I want to...
Well, maybe...
Go ahead.
I was just make stupid jokes.
I was going
to say, what if they're just planting Tations? What if Tations isn't a real thing?
Nice.
Maybe it's a new invention.
In the plantation.
Yeah, plantations.
Maybe it's, a plantation that's sweeping the nation.
A nation of plantation nations.
I think I saw that documentary, A Nation of Plantations. I wanted to...
God, this is the name.
I've been, to get off of, drinking... I mean, not that I ever really drank a ton of Coke or sodas and soda pop, but I do like cola, and I would let myself have a couple a month or something like that. Well, now I'm really trying to stick with the seltzers that are like club soda with just a hint of flavor or whatever. And man, I found one that a Kroger brand. It's called Fitz Incorporated, and they have a cola flavor, and it's not a lot, but I got to tell you, I kind of like when my Coke or Pepsi is a little more carbonated than it is syrupy, and it kind of works.
Yeah.
And I say this already knowing that you're a cola fan. It's zero sugar and 0 calories, but it's got a hint of cola. I sense cola.
You've now reached the old man portion of the program.
Hey, sparkling water has a bit of a cola taste to it, George.
You can't get there from here.
Oh, wait a minute, Clarence. What are you doing with the club soda that tastes like cola? You see,
you're screwy.
No, George.
Pixies. I don't need no pixies here giving a place atmosphere.
If you hadn't fallen in the ice, you never would have created that cola-flavored seltzer water.
Tastes like swamp.
It's an outtake from George Bailey. I ought to wheel over there and just run over your penis. That's an outtake from It's a Wonderful Life. Thank you. Oh, Mr. Potter, you...
Well, they didn't call it a penis back then.
Oh, Jimmy John. How about if I called it
You're off your nut.
What?
You're screwy.
You're off your nut.
Oh, Bert, don't you know me? The two side characters, Bert and
Ernie.
Watch him, Bert. He's bad.
Bert's the cop, Ernie's the cab driver, and they're buddies.
It's true.
Bert and Ernie. Oh, hello, Bert.
Did you say Bert and Ernie, or did you guys say Ernie and Bert?
I said Bert and Ernie.
Bert and Ernie.
Oh, I always said Ernie and Bert.
Alphabetical.
You said it wrong.
I did, for years.
Yeah, straight man first. Bert's and Ellen. Laurel,
is he straight?
Well, Laurel and Hardy actually. Yeah, exactly. I think
he is pointy.
That was a great little controversy for 2 seconds.
Oh, Frank Oz?
Our Bert and Ernie quit.
Yeah. Frank Oz got attacked for a day. I felt bad for the guy.
Yoda.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then people were saying, well, how do you know it? He said, I created them.
Right.
They're like, well, that doesn't give you authority. He goes, yes, it does.
Exactly. And honestly, this is much like the plantation reaction. It's like, look, man, I get it, and by all means, let us be respectful, but there are times when it's just like, hey, take it down a notch. And like this is the whole Cap needs a boyfriend hashtag. It's like, I'm really sorry that people don't realize that two heterosexual men can love each other, air quotes, and really have a brotherly love that they aren't ashamed of calling love, but it doesn't mean that they're gay men. I mean,
like some of us.
Well, exactly, man, and that's.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Let's start a petition.
Exactly. Yeah, and let's throw it in Game of Thrones too. Yeah, and season 8 sucked too.
Yeah, I watched.
Hey, spoiler! I never watched it.
I watched all. That was the first. I did like Smallville. I watched season 8 first. Like Smallville, I watched the last season first.
How many seasons of Breaking Bad are you on?
I've seen it 12 times.
The whole thing 12 times?
Wow. Yeah.
Last time I talked to you, it's 11.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw it again. And I saw Better Call Saul about 4 times because it's not finished.
They're still making it.
Yeah, I finished season 4. And it was funny because I said, I don't feel good. It was Saturday night. I'm like, I don't feel real good. I'm going to go downstairs and draw, or I don't know. I just don't feel right. And then Sonny said, well, you want to watch Saul? I had 2 episodes left. I go, yeah, we'll watch Saul. So I finished up season 4 Better Call Saul before I went to the hospital.
That's beautiful. But, hold on, it's one scene. But let's get through this.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good. It's a good show. The Better Call Saul season 4 is the season that really, really connects Breaking Bad.
Oh, wow. Good to know.
Yeah, it's good. I love that show. It moves slower, but it's good, man. I
started watching the first season and then just got busy with stuff and never came back to it. But keep meaning to because, God, I am so happy for Bob, what's his face?
Odenkirk, yeah.
I mean, that's all. And again, Chicago guy. Awesome. Western Springs.
Yeah, that's right. And Lenny, I forget his name all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Lenny,
McKean. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Michael McKean. Yeah, he's good.
He is a great guy. I love Michael McKean. I think he's a genius. And, I mean, Lenny aside, it's like, Spinal Tap and tons of comedy writing. I mean, he and David Landry were really hired to be just comedy writers on Laverne and Shirley. And they just decided as they were putting the show together, all right, we need 2 more characters. And it's like, well, you guys are funny. Why don't you guys act? And it's like, yeah, all right. And, prior to that, they were in either the Credibility Gap. Yeah, Credibility Gap. I always get the Credibility Gap and the Committee mixed up. They were radio sketch comedians in the 60s.
Oh, yeah? Artists?
Yeah. I mean, and again, like,
no,
I don't, not that kind of sketch. Like National Lampoon Radio Hour. Stuff like that.
Oh.
Audio comedy. Audio comedy. That's simple.
Yeah, that book was naughty when we were kids. If you had a National Lampoon magazine, you're like, ooh,
totally, because let's
go somewhere and look at it.
There were usually breasts in there, absolutely.
Breasticles,
that's a great documentary where they even talk about how, they're like, well, yeah, we had breasts in there. Of course we had breasts in there. So, pretty funny. But, no. Michael McKean's awesome. Back to Saul.
Saul. That's good. And I think it's going to only be 5 seasons. They said they're going to, anything they make Breaking Bad related, it's only going to be 5 seasons because Breaking Bad was 5 seasons.
That's cool.
But the thing about Saul is there's only 10 episodes in their seasons, right, where Breaking Bad had like 16, I think. The first season was 7, but I think they were 16 in the rest of the show, which is kind of cool.
But remember they split them up when they aired.
Yeah.
So it felt like it was 10 seasons or something.
Yeah, they said they did half and half, right?
I kind of like that basic.
Because it feels like 6.
Yeah, I kind of like that basic cable shows do that. I think it's smart because it's almost it's counter programming to networks because their big seasons are summer and winter when the networks are on hiatus, and that makes sense. I think that's a smart way to counter program if you're doing over the air television.
Are the networks just reality TV now, basically?
No, they still make scripted shows. No, I'm always I was talking about it earlier with Franco. The upfronts were in the last couple of weeks, where they go to the advertisers and all the networks, both cable, all of the networks, streaming, cable, over the air, whatever. And I'm always interested in how many new scripted shows each year are made, and also the big difference. It's funny you say that because when that year that NBC wanted to take the gamble and put Jay Leno on at 10 p.m. on the coast and 9 p.m.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They cut back on a lot of scripted television, and then when the show bombed as early as it did, they were kind of screwed. And they really had to scramble to kind of go through the shelves and find 10 p.m. programming, the 9 p.m. programming in the middle of the country, where Artie and I reside.
Then they screwed Conan over
it. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that was one of the interesting byproducts of screwing Conan over and everything was that meanwhile they were really hurting themselves even earlier, and people weren't even watching because the whole idea is to have a good primetime schedule, Then they want to watch the local news and then lock into, the Tonight Show and the 11:30 or the 12:30 show. And then, you wake up with the Today Show. And you never leave NBC.
Mm-hmm. You see, Conan's show is real different now.
Yeah, it's down to a half hour.
Half hour, one guest. But I like the way he dresses because he has a jean jacket, but he still wears the tie. That's kind of cool. He's breaking it up.
Yeah, he has a great podcast now called Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. I'm looking it up to make sure.
Yeah,
It's fantastic. It's excellent.
There's YouTube clips of him traveling too.
Yes,
he travels all over the place.
Yeah, that's kind of what he's smart. He's adapted to the digital platform, and I think that's smart.
Yeah, you gotta.
Hey man, I'm living proof.
Yeah, I remember Smashing Pumpkins guy said that people don't buy albums; they buy songs. So their last album, years ago, they released one song at a time instead of an album. And people buy it, whatever, and like a whole set would be like only 4 songs. So I thought that was pretty cool too.
No, everything's changing. Did you ever see the documentary about Napster that Bill from Bill and Ted, Alex Winter made?
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Netflix for a long time.
I like Netflix.
No, I think really the digital revolution has changed everything as far as media goes, and I mean even movie theaters and stuff. It's to the point.
Yeah, man.
Even spoilers.
Well, yeah, like Frank and I were talking about the Game of Thrones spoiler theme so early, but even they just had the convention in it was in Vegas. It used to be called Show West, and now it's called MovieCon, and it's for the film theater owners. And they go to Vegas, and all the movie studios lay out like their slates of movies. And sometimes they show first looks at trailers. Sometimes they showed the first 10 minutes of Toy Story 4 that's coming out soon.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and also an interesting adaptation of a Vertigo crime book from a couple years ago that Ming Doyle and my buddy Ali Masters made.
Ming Chen.
No, Ming Doyle. Let me finish. It's called The Kitchen, as opposed to A Cheap Laugh. The Kitchen's a great Irish mob story set in New York in the 70s about how all the wives of the mobsters, while the mobsters are in jail, they decide to take over the business, and bad things start to happen.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
yes,
cool.
it's a great, and this is why I didn't want to be interrupted by a stupid joke. But please continue, Scoot. It was
that was a joke. I think you're talking about Ming Chen.
And I'm sure Ming Doyle would be pretty pissed to me compared to Ming Chen. But anyway, like they showed like a scene from that. And Melissa McCarthy's in it. Melissa McCarthy.
Oh yeah, she's from Chicago too.
Molly, whoa. From Mike.
And it's funny. Like I've been out of the hospital, and I go to watch TV, and all the new shows they got that one with I Love Raymond's wife, Deborah. Deborah.
Deborah.
There's a show with her coming out, and she's a doctor. And I looked at I don't even know what it was called, but I saw that and like And I'm like, I don't want to watch that. And then the next one is that I Love Molly and Mike, like the husband who was in that, and he's in love with a nurse. And that's the next one. It's another hospital show, and I'm looking at that like, I don't want to watch that. I said, and I think the kids were with me. I was watching. I think Gordy was there, and I said, I'm never going to watch those shows. And he's laughing. Never, ever going to even try it.
I like Billy Gardell. I have to confess I like Billy. And really, I started watching Mike and Molly because of Franco. Because he told me about Vince, Susie Kurtz's boyfriend on Mike and Molly, who's like,
I never saw
Artie,
that.
You got to look on YouTube and just look up Mike and Molly Best of Vince. And he's the most street Chicago guy I've ever seen on TV. I mean, he puts Dennis Franz to shame of how Chicago street he is. Hey, how you doing? I'm not saying...
over there by the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Turdy.
When I was in the Philippines, for $10, you could get a steak dinner, a new suit, and a baby.
Believe you me, buddy.
It's hilarious.
Hey, he's a good guy. He
owns a warehouse, and he's totally like a ship. Hey, I had these Bulls tickets dropped in my lap over by there.
Yeah, did you see the Hawks game last night?
Exactly. I'm telling you. And Gardell, for being... I think he's a Wisconsin guy, originally. No, he's a Pittsburgh guy. I think Pittsburgh. But I like him. I have to say. I will sadly probably check out at least the first episode of that show. Because, God, he was Colonel Parker, Elvis's manager, on that series that ran on country music television called Sun Records, all about the early days of Sun. And, he's a total great bad guy. Because, the Colonel kind of screwed over Elvis. Made a bad deal with him and everything.
Oh, Elvis.
Thank you very much.
King.
The Colonel. I just want to thank the Colonel for coming up with the great idea of making me myself and also my double in a great movie called Harem Scarum. I think you're going to like it. Oh.
Priscilla turned into a lizard, didn't she?
Well,
she went out there.
She had a good run, man. I mean,
thing.
she goes back to the 60s. I mean, well, even the 50s or whatever. No, I guess early 60s when Elvis and
yeah, she was beautiful. But she had the
Naked Gun. She looks
the
great.
surgery on her face.
Yeah,
now.
She tried too hard.
Look at her now,
Yeah.
man. She looks like a lobster.
I know, a lot of
and then the
Botox.
other one,
She was,
you know who else
was
did that to her
Jokerized.
face? Is the girl who replaced Farrah on the Charlie's Angels.
Oh, Cheryl Ladd?
Cheryl Ladd. Yeah, I saw
Really?
pictures, and she.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she chose to. Yeah, make my cheeks big and my face
she
crazy.
flew for a long time, sir.
Yeah.
I saw a Lifetime movie where she's like, classic, let me marry the guy and murder him and seduce his son and everything kind of movie. And she looked
she was
amazing
really
in that movie.
I don't know why they think they need to turn into the lizard.
Her daughter,
her
daughter Jordan's
need this.
pretty too. It looks just like her mom. It's crazy.
Yeah, I saw pictures because she was signing Mego action figures because they made Charlie's Angels
sure.
figures.
That's funny.
But yeah, I was like, oh, that's
Can
not
I get
her.
a Tanya Roberts, please?
Oh my God, you see her? She got a head transplant.
What happened to her?
Like her whole face is. Oh
Really?
my God,
She looked great on that 70s show. And she was funny on that 70s
Oh, right. She's not on. Oh no, not Tanya Roberts. The one who was on the hood of the car in that video.
Tawny Contain.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's a big.
Yeah.
She also looks like
Her face got like real wide, like a billboard.
Jokerized. She like Meg Ryan.
I don't know why
Meg
they
Ryan's
do
another
that.
one that got Jokerized too.
Yeah, I don't know why, man.
Yeah, why do they do that?
Because they see the girls. Okay, I see it. Or did they look at them and say, "Ooh, that looks good. I'm going to do that."
lizard? I'd like to look like the gecko. Is that possible?
I only want to blink 3 times a day. Make sure my eyes.
I'd like my
closed.
lips stretched out as much as possible because I'd like to start eating watermelons like they're apples. That'd be great.
Yeah,
What is the male equivalent? Would that be George Hamilton?
No,
I guess?
he's just got the tan. George didn't have. Does he have more than the tan?
He's got the Joker face going on too.
Burt Reynolds had the chin tuck. His chin.
And at the end, it all fell apart. So then, he looked like
You know who might be
looked like the Bill of Rights or whatever. Nicolas Cage is hunting in National Treasure.
You know who might
It
be
was not
equivalent
good. It was
is
parchment face.
yeah, and John Travolta's not doing
Oh,
good. He
yeah.
keeps doing something to his
Well,
head.
yeah, with his hair. Hey, I got an idea. I'm gonna make my hair look like a guy on Get Smart.
Look like Ming the Merciless.
Yes.
Yeah, look like Ming.
It's a brown helmet.
I'm an evil emperor from planet Mongo. Did he say mango? Mongo. Thank you. I want to have some mango juice. Do you think mango juice means something else with Ming?
They claim
Have
George
some
Hamilton is 79. Maybe. I don't know. I think
You know who's still flying looks good is I saw Sam Jones and Melody Anderson this
How'd
weekend.
she look?
She looks
That's
great.
awesome.
Oh, she was Dale Arden.
Dale Arden, yeah.
Yeah.
What show? She was on a TV show. Was she on Manimal? Was that her on Manimal?
That's just the fact that you asked that makes me happy. I don't know. You know who's going to be at Terrificon, and I so want to interview him, is, what's his name? Oh, God, now I'm blanking on his name. 70s Captain America. Reb Brown.
Yeah,
Brown.
Brown, man.
Really?
And I got to tell you, for being an old man, he looks fine. He looks great. And I'm
He's
such a
still
fan.
shook, yeah.
I got to tell you, man, he made a very credible Steve Rogers.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Like everything that's wrong with that movie is not his fault at all. And I'd be the.
There's nothing
I was
wrong
going to
there.
say that I would be the first person to tell him that. All right, stand by. She's
That movie's awesome.
in Firewalker with Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
What else?
You know, Red Brown was Chrissy's boyfriend on Three's Company for an
I didn't know
episode.
that, but it doesn't surprise me.
She slapped him in the hand. Yeah, I remember. He wanted to beat up Jack.
She was on an episode of Welcome Back, Kotter, and she was on the short-lived Logan's Run television show. Wow.
Welcome.
She was in a movie with Nicolas Cage called The Boy in Blue, with Chuck Norris and Firewalker. She was on. Well, no, she was on Burke's. Oh yeah, I forgot. She played Edie Adams in the Ernie Kovacs movie. She played his wife, and Jeff Goldblum played Ernie Kovacs. It was cool. It was a TV movie. So what show did you want to know if she was on?
I said Manimal, but I'm not.
No, it wasn't
100%
Manimal.
sure on that one.
No, I'm sorry, no Manimal.
No.
But yeah, Negan was out to dinner. That's why he's not joining us. This just in.
Oh yeah.
But there you go. Yeah, that's she's in the Kurt Russell Elvis movie.
Elf.
Yeah, that's right. She was.
Was she Priscilla?
Yep. Oh, it looks like it looks like Mike's having dinner with George Perez, and probably Mrs. Perez.
Really?
Mrs.
Right now?
Well, I don't know. Like, I'm asking, is that current?
Oh, Mr. Welsh. Oh, Mr. Welsh. Well, let me tell you what I really think of your wife.
I'm very excited about Red Brown at Terrificon.
Yeah, that sounds kind of cool.
You may be the only one.
Hey, man, are you kidding? He's in Gabe Kaplan's basketball movie, Fast Break, which is a great 70s.
Oh, I remember
that. Is a good 70s basketball movie. Very funny college basketball movie. Yep. I'm telling you. It was on Amazon Prime at least 6 months ago, because before I got injured, I remember watching it at the end of last year. So it might still be on Amazon Prime, because they rotate movies in and out on those things.
In and out and in.
Can I tell you a Netflix documentary that I think is absolutely worth seeing?
Yes.
It's weird. The premise is weird.
It's the only one that wants to hear about it.
I think he's humoring me, but that's all right. Bathtubs Over Broadway. And it's, do you remember on Letterman, they used to do Dave's record collection? And he'd have like all the Golden Throats, the Shatner albums, and David McCallum from The Man from U.N.C.L.E. singing, and Chad Everett singing, and people like that. Well, they'd also have these promotional albums that were made. Like if you're a salesman for Maytag, appliances, you go to the big convention in New York for a weekend of okay, these are the new products or whatever, and they would go to Broadway people and and have them write and make a short half-hour Broadway-style presentation talking about the appliances. And everything did it. All the different industries did it. And especially at the height of corporate America from the 50s to the 80s. Like when GM had money to burn. And all the big oil companies had money to burn. And they would have legitimate Broadway actors and actresses and choreographers and even the great composers would write songs for these things. And they make these albums. And it was like, oh my God. The guy who made the General Electric corporate musical ended up later making Fiddler on the Roof. Writing the music for Fiddler on the Roof. So, if I had a chic shack, yebble dibble dibble. I don't know.
I just met a girl named Maria.
Exactly. So, it's the guy who was behind the Dave's Record Collection comedy bits. He would find these weird albums, and he became obsessed with them. And he's like, I want to talk to these people. And even like Martin Short and Andrea Martin from SCTV, they did ones. They did one for, they were talking about, they did it for Montalban, Cordoba, Chrysler. Yes, Mike Nagan confirms he was having dinner with the Perez's tonight. Very cool. This just in.
Yeah.
But it's a great documentary. It's very funny and it's interesting. And, it's just great. It's a look at, like, going to used record stores and finding weird stuff like that. But then they went and they talked to the actors. And there's, like, they have clips of Dom DeLuise doing an industrial musical and Tony Randall. And they talked to Cheetah Rivera.
How about Cheech?
No Cheech Marin. Yeah, I did an industrial for GM, man. Hey, man, I want to buy a Maytag, man. Cheech and Chong doing an industrial musical.
Maytag man.
They did have Ed McMahon, however. Yes, hello. I want to say hello to our Budweiser salesman.
So was he always drunk on there?
He's my uncle.
Is he Ed McMahon?
He wasn't always, but there is a great
Vince.
episode where clearly he is bombed out of his
Uncle
mind.
Jim.
And he's like, and he keeps like telling, he keeps contradicting Carson. He's like, well, he goes, we're going to have Joan Embry on from the San Diego Zoo. I knew her before you did. And it's like, well, I'm sure you did. That's fine. No, I met her first. And he's like completely like going out a drunken rant. It's very funny. It's like
Doesn't he get kind of sad, like he's going to cry?
Yeah, well, at the end of it, he's like, well, I sometimes I feel like you got to, you don't remember how things went. No, I know. It's okay, Ed. It's so funny. It really is. It's in the Carson documentary that's on Netflix. Johnny Carson,
I like
of the Night.
Netflix.
I don't know if this is true. I heard this backstage. Someone told me. I don't know if this is true. That's another Carson setup. A classic Carson setup.
How big was it?
Exactly. It was so cold last night.
I watched a lot of Match Game in the hospital too.
The one from the 70s?
Charles Nelson Riley.
Kenny Flagg and Brett Summers. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's Oscar. That's Oscar Madison's wife, Jack Klugman's wife.
Is it?
Yeah, and literally, when Match Game first started, he was one of the regular celebrities, and he'd be like, give a gig to my wife. She's bummed. She hasn't been doing any acting lately, and he got her on there, and he's like, stop asking me. Yes, Brett, she's good at this, and that's how she became so popular and stayed on the show. But it started with the husband, and it's like, let my wife do this. She's better at this than I am.
Is she? I'm gonna dread asking this question.
Wait.
Has she done anything else, or is that just what she does? Here you go. Oh.
Well, no, I don't know if she ever had a regular. We can look up her IMDb.
Oh, there it is.
What's up? What happened?
Oh, that's cool. No, nothing.
No, it's
Brett Summers.
Yeah, that's all.
I obviously missed the joke, I guess, but it's sorry.
You do go to the Google. Yeah.
Do you want me to look up and see if she did anything else?
Yeah, you could.
Yes,
I'm curious.
yes.
Yeah, curious because
sure, John. Yeah,
I only saw her on there.
Okay. If it's a legitimate question, sure. Because she's on a Battlestar Galactica episode.
Is she a Klingon?
No, but she has a crush on Adama, on Lauren Green.
Oh, yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She died in 2007.
Oh,
She was
too bad.
83.
Oh.
Okay, career. She was big. It makes sense. She was a big Broadway person. She was in 7-Year Itch, Country Girl, and okay, TV. Summers made many appearances on episodic primetime television, including Love American Style, The Defenders, Have Gun Will Travel, Ben Casey, Chips, The Love Boat, Barney Miller, and The Fugitive. I remember when she was on Barney Miller. In 73, I remember this. She played Rhoda Morgenstern's Aunt Rose in the season 4 episode of Rhoda's Sister Gets Married on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. I remember that one.
Hi, Rhoda.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Ted. Hey, is your Aunt Rose here, Rhoda?
Me and my brother used to call The Fugitive the Fugitive.
And then, of course, she was on The Odd Couple, and she played Blanche, Oscar's ex-wife.
Blanche. Oh, I thought she was... But that was his real wife, right?
She was on there. But then, it says here, hold on a second. Summers was best known for appearances as a panelist on the 1970s game show Match Game. For her debut last episode, she sat in the lower left panel position, but for the remainder of her tenure, she occupied the middle center seat of the upper tier next to Charles Nelson Riley, otherwise known as Uncle Croc.
Easy.
You see the picture? I put it on Instagram. There was a Betty White Match Game episode, and she had this big, giant pendant on, and it totally looks like the Eye of Agamotto. So I'm like, that brief period in the 70s when Betty White was the Sorcerer Supreme. Great horny toads of Hoth. Dear.
Yeah, she kept it together on that one. Betty White's all right. She's still going. She's still flying, right? Right now?
Yeah, well, she's still
she's still cranking a propeller.
Yeah, for 90 whatever, sure.
With all this climate change stuff, we're going to have to think of what kind of world we're going to be leaving for Betty White.
It's true.
Oh, my God.
Maybe the roaches and Betty White survive it. That's terrible. Oh, hello,
roaches.
Dear. She kills me. She's awesome. She is one of the boys. She's not beyond doing, like, remember she did that SNL with, was it with Princess Leia's mom? Wasn't it?
Yeah, I know that lady.
Jane Foster. Black Swan.
Jane Foster?
She was Jane Foster in Thor. What's her fit?
Oh, Natalie.
Merchant, thank you. Not Natalie Merchant. Natalie Portman. I did it again. Kit Kitteridge.
Natalie Merchant.
I identified Kit Harington as Kit Kitteridge. If you know your American girl, you'd be busting a gut right now.
She was. Oh, yeah.
How come they didn't? How come the American Girl dolls didn't co-opt that song? Well, she was an American girl. Probably because Tom Petty's dope smoking didn't fit into their image. We don't like Miss That's the truth. Sorry, I don't mean to bust your bubble, Scoot. I'm sorry if you're holding out hope that that was all pure Petty. But I love Petty. He's the man.
Yeah, I like him. He died twice that day. Remember?
Yes, I do. Sadly,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I
rough.
was listening to the Traveling Wilburys End of the Line, and it's so great because what I really to help put myself to sleep, and this is here's a bad confession. I'll look up karaoke. Artie knows I do this. I look up karaoke songs and I'll just like sing to myself till I get tired, basically.
Really?
Oh, boy.
It doesn't wake you up more?
No, it helps. It helps. And I found End of the Line, and it's like you can't help but try and sing like George Harrison and Tom Petty. You don't even have to worry about the car you drive at the end of the line. You can't help but sound like these guys, and especially the Roy Orbison part.
Well, and, yeah, you shake your.
Exactly, you gotta warble. You gotta warble.
Is that what it is? A warble?
I'm gonna call it caterwaul. It's kind of like yodeling. I think it's like soft yodeling. Only the lonely.
Called a caterwarble.
I loved Roy.
Caterwarble.
I loved Roy Orbison. He was awesome, and it was so great that he went out a superstar because he really had some years in the wilderness where he was underappreciated.
I understand.
Yeah.
Roy. Are the boys getting tired?
Yeah.
All right.
How long were you guys on before I jumped on?
3 hours.
No, 1 hour.
Okay.
Just an hour.
I missed the Streamwood community meeting
Oh, that's
today.
right. You're a councilman.
I usually go with my wife, so she I wasn't there. But this week she had to take a few days off to be with me because the drunks freaked out. So she spent the night at the hospital with me 2 nights.
The drunks freaked out.
The drugs freaked me out.
I thought you said the drunks freaked out. Hey, where's Artie? How come he's not at the community meeting?
No, the drugs freaked me out in the hospital. So whenever I have those freakouts, she was there to settle me down. But she didn't want to go home until I was off those drugs, because I would. So she has spent 2 nights, work nights even, like in the hospital, and then. She took some time off to drive me around because I'm not allowed to drive yet because I'm still on these painkillers and they get me loopy. And so I missed tonight because I said, I'm kind of sore. I don't want to go there and sit on an uncomfortable chair. And but she said that before they started, one of the guys told everyone, he said, let's send good vibes to Rosa's husband. And they're like, oh, yeah, because they all know me from going there. So they said that because she was out of office a lot, so that she told me back, yeah, they're all thinking of you. I was like, oh, that's cool.
You were mentioned in the minutes.
Yeah, I was in the agenda this time. This tonight's agenda. It was a shout out.
Is there a cable channel that runs their meetings on TV?
Oh, no, it's just very, 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 very local. Yeah, it's cool, and I know that.
Do it on IM. Go, hey, let's give a little shout out for Artie, who's recovering. Hey.
I can see some of those men do that. Hey. But I'm not doing that. But no, it's pretty cool. It was nice to hear that. At least they,
Like
But she can't miss those meetings, man. They're inside stuff going on.
Report, Scoot?
Sorry. No, go ahead. I'm done.
Hey, Scoot, anything to report? It sounds like we're winding down.
No, I was gonna talk. I'll talk to you off the air, Johnny, about some politics stuff I'm reading, but I won't bring it up on here.
I'm shaking my fist at the TV every day as well, and I'd be very interested to hear what's going on.
But I'm going on vacation this weekend. I'm going to Cherry Capital Comic Con in Traverse City, Michigan.
I hear good things about that show.
Yeah, I'm a guest of the show, and it's at a resort there. So we're going to stay up there, the whole family, and stay up there for Memorial Day weekend.
Let's look up real fast who
that sounds pretty good.
The Cherry Capital Con.
Dirk Manning, my co-creator of Cthulhu Jr. book.
That's cool. That's cool.
All right, I'm going.
You've been drawing a lot. I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Yeah, I'm working on another book right now. I can't really talk about, but you know what it is. You guys all know what it is.
Yeah.
With David, young Dave.
I'm glad it survived.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
So far. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff going on. It's survived, but like nobody is overseeing it right now. It's just kind of there. It exists.
It's weird because when I don't get an email from certain companies, I always wonder.
Yeah.
A lot of comic companies are like merging or laying off people, or people are changing. It's kind of weird.
Yep. Oh, I saw Wrapped Up was one of those children's choice comics of 2019. Did you see that?
Yeah.
By the way, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I said we got nominated too for a kids kids award. Yeah, for the Ann Arbor, Michigan show.
Encounter.
Yeah, I wanted to actually looked into going, but I'll be at Migo Meet that same time.
Oh, you could have stayed at my house. I'm only 45 minutes away.
I know Ming Chen.
Maybe I'll go
Ming Chen will be at your Capital City Cherry Con, whatever the.
I was trying to say that.
Well, yeah, but because instead of like my interesting story about a good movie that's coming out, you had to interrupt with, by the way, this like the fourth guy on Comic Book Man, that wonderful series that we all love. Yeah, he's going to be there.
Artie likes it.
I like it. Yeah.
Sucked.
I get to meet all the guys.
They're nice guys.
Mike
It's not their fault the way it's
Art and Franco's book was on there.
I like Zapsik a lot. Ming seemed like a nice guy. They're nice guys. It's not their fault.
So you just had something against Ming Chen?
No, the show. It was, and really, the one guy I find incredibly annoying. I haven't met him. I'm sure he's a lovely person in person. But Brian, the big guy, very annoying.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Again, that's how they cut it.
I never met that guy.
The great Crow creator, James O'Barr, will be there.
Oh, you got stories about him.
Yeah, we did.
I know facts.
I saw him this weekend at East Coast Comic
Jay
Con.
Foskett's going to be there. Wow, look, it's Scoop McMahon right there, ladies and gentlemen, right after Kaylin Smith.
I just got to say, I'm glad the fist bump is invented.
Dan Dougherty's going to be there, Chicago's very own.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna look this up on my own. So
all right, do it. Franco's had it.
I don't need you to read the whole thing to me.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm crashing here.
Have a good weekend, long weekend, Franco.
Yeah, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right,
Yeah, man. You're good, man.
Thank you very much. Bye.
I like yeah. Good, man. He's crashing. He's hurting.
What else?
Yeah.
We could wrap if you want. It's up to you guys. I don't know what else. I
Wrapped
don't know what
up.
else I know. Yeah, wrapped up. Oh, wait, that's another reference. Please, good.
Yeah, I don't know what else is going on. What else is going on? Let's see. How are the White Sox doing, Artie?
We're doing good, but then all of a sudden, we ran into the Astros.
It's a tough road trip they're on right now.
Yeah, Astros are like 39-16 or something. Crazy. But tonight they're facing Verlander, and I watched the first 3 innings, and it didn't look good. But the Astros are just good. Like the Sox are not messing up. They're just Astros are beating them. There's like difference. Like if you make a mistake and then 2 runs score because of an error, but that's not happening. The Astros are beating them.
The Astros have been a playoff level team for a couple of years now.
Yeah, they're good.
The Sox are doing okay, but they're on a totally different level in terms of where the team currently is. I get it.
Yeah, Sox are on a good run, but they're winning, losing. But usually the last few series they're winning the series, but they're still struggling to get that 500. Yeah. There's still 3 games there, but I like them. They're not giving up. They're not making errors and stuff. They're just when they lose, but a few games when they lost hard, like 10-2, like 5-0, stuff like that. But Astros yesterday they won 3-0, and the Sox just they couldn't hit their pitching. Their pitching's good, and I'm curious today because of Verlander pitching. I know he's like the best guy in the major leagues or something. He's the best pitcher ever. So I'm real curious to how it's going to go. I'm going to look it up, Johnny. I'm going to look it up and see how they're going. But if they lose, but they try. And when I watch baseball, the thing I hate the most is striking out looking, and that's like if you can't expect to win if you don't swing the bat. So luckily, Cedar down. It's 5-1 right now, and the eighth. So I knew going in like Verlander.
I didn't know how to break it to you already.
They finally got it. They finally got a run in the 7th, and I know with Verlander, if you could get to him early in the first 3 innings, he could get messed up. But if you get past the 3 innings with him, and if he's ahead, like he's in the zone, he's concentrated. You can't. It's hard to break that guy. But if you get him if you get like 3 guys on, if you get a few hits in the first inning, he could lose it. He could lose concentration. They'll take him out early, but that's rare. But I know him, and that's how Clemens was in the early days. Clemens was real hard to get past that guy.
Before the steroids.
Yeah, and then he'd just get mad, strike guys out. And then he was rough. But and that's how the other guy, remember El Duque like that? He passed him. I think the Sox had him in the World Series year. I think they had him.
Might be right. I think you might be right.
Yeah.
This road trip they're on, they're in Houston now, then they're going to be in Minnesota, and then Kansas City. Well, they're home for Kansas City, and then home for Cleveland to end the month.
I think Twins are in first place too. I think
that's why I'm like, this is a tougher road trip this time around. These 5 games.
Yeah, they did good. They were doing good. And then Boston, they had to play Boston. They lost some, but they're good. They're still in it. They're not.
It's early stuff.
Not giving up. So yeah, and that's always the Chicago thing. Oh, it's only May, but now it's June.
On the other side of town,
yeah, I know. But there's
the Cubs had that really rough start in April. And everyone's like, oh man. And it's like, will you relax? It's the first week of the season. Just relax.
Right.
And they're fine. They're doing what they need to do.
Yeah,
they're doing good now, right?
Yeah, they're in first place. Yeah, teams got to get warmed up, but once they find their rhythm and their zone, and the problem with the Sox is they go to relief pitching every day. And the relief, I always fear when the relievers come in, like, oh man, come on guys, keep it together. And each reliever is like good for like one inning. It seems like, but that's okay for now. But hopefully, they still got the whole season to go.
That's not a playoff team. If you can't rely on your secondary pitching and stuff, that's not good.
Yeah, so they've been hanging on at third place for a little bit. So hopefully we could. I always say my team's gonna make it. We'll do all right. And the cool thing is, like, I'm watching the games almost every day now, especially with recuperating. They're on, and so the kids were asking me today, oh, mate, can we go to see the game in the summer? Like, yes, because it's kind of like I'm waiting for that. I know they'll go if I say, come on, I got Sox tickets, we're going. We'll go, but I want them to ask to go. That's better.
I agree.
It's like saying, can we go see the new Star Wars? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. That's what I like.
Well, sure. You want them to be enthusiastic, absolutely.
Yeah, just don't go to, because Daddy said so.
Well, if you're not enthusiastic, I mean, going to the baseball game can be a really long day.
Right.
If you're not
King County Cougar games, man, are 18 innings.
There you go, exactly.
Every time we went like 3 or 4 times, and every time was extra inning. There was only one game that ended in the ninth.
Have you gone to the Boomers, the ones in Schaumburg?
No, not yet. Me and my buddies are gonna Raisky and the Weasel. We're gonna go see the Chicago Dogs. We're gonna try them all. We're gonna try the Dogs first from Rosemont.
Okay. Yeah.
It's and then the Boomers, and the Dogs are funny because they have it's based on the hot dog, Chicago hot dogs, but they're just called dogs, Chicago Dogs, and their mascot is a hot dog and a wiener hot dog and it's a bottle of mustard, and the bad guy mascot is a ketchup bottle with a black mask on and a cape. He's because you could put ketchup on a hot dog, but not if it's a Chicago hot dog.
Right.
Like, it's not a Chicago.
Exactly right.
And so all this ketchup, I don't care. You could put it on it, but if you're going to call it a Chicago dog, it doesn't have ketchup on it.
Yeah. Tony Packo's hot dogs don't come with ketchup, only mustard.
Yeah.
Like chili sauce or whatever.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, you don't
You
put
don't
it
have
on
to put mustard on it.
But
There you go. You just don't put ketchup on it.
Oh.
You hear me, Juan?
But the Chicago. But I'm real curious because they just opened up like I think Saturday was their opening day.
That's cool.
And I want to go because I like the minor league
They're
team.
a blast. Absolutely, minor league baseball is fun.
Yeah, they're close. I got three teams near my house, so it's.
Come to the Mudhens, guys.
Hey!
Oh, I would love to see
the most famous minor league team.
Incidentally.
That's where Smitty goes too. I think they see those guys.
Yeah.
I want to see Yeah, I like that. Plus they want you in the park, so the food is real cheap. It's real affordable. You could eat I fed my whole family for like $40. We had a bunch of food.
Sports. That's the whole key. That's the way to get your kids excited about going to games, and you're not breaking them. And that's what gets me angry about the top stuff. It's like, I'm sorry, the minor leagues are entertaining and it's fun and it's professional enough, and you appreciate it. It's cool. Fun. Who are the Dogs affiliated with? You know what major league team they're from?
I think they're just by themselves.
Could be independent.
There's a lot of
independent teams.
Yeah, I think there's a Frontier League, and I forgot the other names, but I remember Frontier because that's just an independent baseball league, and I think that's where the Boomers are independent too. I
don't know if he's still in the business or not, but Mike Veck, Bill Veck's son, was involved with one of the independent leagues, and it might be the Frontier League. Oh, cool. So
yeah, maybe, and I like going to the park and buying their hat, and just go there eat and stuff. And the Cougars are part of the Diamondbacks.
Oh, that's cool. Well, they constantly change hands because when they first started, they were an Orioles team, and I can't remember who else over the years. But I think the Marlins for a while.
And it's kind of cool because it's like it reminds me of wrestling a little bit. Like if you can't make it in WWE, well, guess what? There's these
Right.
3 other ones. You can do ROH or TNA. So that's kind of what it is, I think. And I like those boomers are real close. Once I recuperate, man, I want to go, and that's only about 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah, Chucky.
The boomers are real
Chucky
close.
was like, I mean, it's a long walk, but it's literally walking distance from his place. Because he's in
cool,
Roselle.
man.
He's right by the. I always forget if it's the Schaumburg stop or the Roselle stop for the Amtrak.
Yeah, Irving Park.
Yeah, he's right by there. So
I'm looking forward to the summer to going. And the kids are out of school
Sure.
like in a week. They got less than a week. They're out of school next Wednesday. So it's a week and a day. And so they're
wow, that seems late.
I'm getting
that seems late to have. You mean they're out for the summer? Okay,
Yeah,
the summer.
they're out.
Yeah. I was gonna say, wow, that's late for
Like
a week of vacation. But
No, they're out for May 26th or 7th.
Wow.
They're home for 2 months or 3.
It's that time.
But it'd be cool to do baseball games with them. It was going to be fun. Yeah.
When is Oliver going to go to his first Mud Hens game, or has he already been?
He's
Wow.
been. Yeah.
Oh,
They have like a big playground out in the outfield, like in the
Oh, that's
stands,
great.
and that's all he wants to do.
Well, that's okay. I don't
Yeah.
get him.
Well, like you said, the minor league games are good to just you go hang out for a couple hours and barely watch the game. You eat there.
Does Paco's serve food at the ballpark or no?
No, but they have a restaurant right across the
Hey!
street, so you can just
That's
out
right.
there.
Just
Yeah.
cross Jamie
I like
Farr
that.
Way by Jamie Farr Boulevard.
What do they have? They have some stuff in there. Maybe they do have. No, they don't have it inside. They have because it's right across the street, so they want you to come to the actual restaurant. But
No idea.
now
That's cool.
Art does that one
Yeah.
that you were just talking about? Do they have Harold's Chicken inside the stadium?
Oh, my God. I
It's
wish.
Maine's chicken, which is
Yeah.
slightly different.
Harold Baines. Yeah, maybe.
I forgot. I got on late. Did you mention your Harold's for the podcast to get our
Free food.
what do you call it, ad money?
This episode of Audio
We're in-
Podcast is brought to you by.
Yeah, our sponsor. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're ever in the Chicago area, go to Harold's Chicken Shack.
Every podcast in the last year has had Harold's Chicken
That's true.
mention.
That's true.
Oh my God! I'm working on a painting for them to hang up. But I went and my girl who worked there, my Harold's manager.
Yeah.
She moved on. She's at a different job.
Oh no.
So I gotta re-schmooze them. But I haven't been there for a little while, and I gotta work it back again and say, hey, you guys said you'd hang this, but I think they will. They got enough people.
That remember
Hopefully.
you.
Yeah, and the other one was really. She was into me, so I was like, she knew I was. She goes, "Hey, how you doing, Artie?" So
Yeah.
and I got to rework it, but I haven't been there in a while. And I got to recoup, and plus I got a different diet now because
I understand.
and they said based on the severity of my surgery and my implications, that's what the doctors used those words. It messed up my everything. It messed up
Yeah, you better be careful with the Harold's.
Yeah, I can eat the chicken, but not the fries. Or I got to take it easy with the sauce and whatever. But instead of eating the whole 6-piece, maybe just two pieces, I'll be good.
And you
I got
get
it.
numbers back down, Artie, because that's what happened to me.
Yeah,
And I'm out of the range.
Tell me
Did I tell
about
you that?
yeah.
I'm out.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I
out of
did
the
see
deep
that.
range.
Yeah,
I'm back to normal.
and they told me about 3 or 4 months. I should be.
Oh yeah.
I should be.
That's because that's what I did. I'm like, all right, I'll take you seriously, and I won't. I'll cut down on bread and carbs and bread carbs and no pasta, no rice.
Yeah, no.
And I'm like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I could do it. I could be disciplined. I did it in a while. I did it when the
into
kids
the
were
other non-carb foods that you like, because that's what I did.
Yeah, and in the last 2 years or so, or maybe less, I lost about 40 pounds.
Attaboy. That's great.
And yeah,
Wow.
and
That's
the thing is,
fantastic.
I wasn't trying. Yeah, I wasn't really trying, but I know I know I was eating less, and just vampire hours
Yeah,
do
that's
that
true, too.
when you just drink coffee all day. And but they don't know why. The doctors don't know how I lost weight, so they're concerned with that. I'm like, well, I didn't lose it in a week. It was wow, but I was 217 pounds. So I'm like, wait, that's not right. And they're like, yeah. So the good thing is my initial goal weight for a man my age and height is 200 pounds. So I got 17 to go until I'm at that
Optimum weight.
at the fighting weight.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You got a title fight
where I
coming
can
up.
look
I
up.
understand.
Yeah, and I got to get the abs back.
Absolutely.
Right now I got one big ab, but I got So I got to break it up into 6, maybe even 8. I'll do 8. Yeah,
Sure.
that's the goal.
I want that drawing, one big ab.
One big ab.
I want you to get
Thick rope.
xylophone. I want you to get xylophone mallets to be able to play something on your abs.
Yeah.
You could be the next thick superhero,
Sure.
Artie.
Be thick,
Yeah,
yeah.
God, did you guys see that picture I sent you, Brendan Fraser?
Yeah.
It was on. I didn't know this woman had a talk show, but much like Wendy Williams and Chelsea Hamner, or whatever her name is, Hamler.
She's
Busy Phillips is her name, and she
Oh,
had a show
yeah.
on E! That I guess just got canceled. But they had Leslie Mann on as a guest, and they were talking about when Leslie Mann and Brendan Fraser made George of the Jungle, and she said, I totally fell in love with Brendan because he was so, and he was. I expected that was like his physical prime. He was a good-looking man, and he's in a loincloth. He's like Tarzan. He's in a loincloth the whole episode, the whole film and everything.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, it was so embarrassing." She goes, "I'd go home and tell my husband, Judd Apatow, the director," and she's like, "I'm like totally falling in love with Brendan." And he goes, "Well, I can see that. All right, whatever." And I said, "All right,
Yeah.
whatever."
I always thought he'd be a good Superman.
Oh
when
yeah,
they're in
absolutely.
that movie. I thought he'd
Totally.
be a good Superman.
And so
yeah.
then he comes out, and I mean, hey, believe me, as Artie and I will attest, you get thick when you get old. But he,
it's
as
all right,
we
though.
pointed out on his fine work on Doom Patrol, he's thick robot man. And he is. He's
Yeah, he is.
he's thick. And
They probably say, you're going to have to wear this armor. And he goes, how much is the jacket?
exactly.
All right.
You know what's interesting? I saw him on. I keep looking for interviews because I'm like, they have to have other actors playing when Negative Man is all bandaged up, and when Robot Man's in his robot suit. I'm like, no way are they like dealing with that. Matt Bomber
Yep.
and Brendan Fraser, and Brendan Fraser confirmed it, at least for him, that he does have a double. That when they have the scenes where it's Robot Man, it is not Brendan Fraser. Most of them, unless his helmet's off, and then you see. But he's like, no, there is another guy. Because I know I saw those publicity photos too of him with his head exposed, but wearing the Robot Man suit. So I'm like, oh, it's possible, but I'm like, no way. And
that's
and
not
yeah,
bad.
I think that's fine. No, I think that's a smart. I bet they pay them less because they have less screen time, or came up with a more equitable, affordable deal, and it works fine. I think it works. I think it works great. And
Yeah, it's kind of like when they got 5 guys playing Vader,
Right,
Darth Vader.
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And again, it doesn't take away from the character, and they also have enough scenes in Doom Patrol, flashback scenes, or they're inside their minds, and then it is Matt Bomber and it is Brendan Fraser, so it works.
Cool.
I cannot stop raving about Doom Patrol and how great it is. They even put Flex Mentallo in as of course they did. Why not?
Oh, is he in there
This
too?
Season, yep. So
cool.
and Flex Mentallo, yeah. I mean, oh god,
Yeah.
no, it's. I mean, I'm sure they're paying Grant Morrison a really nice check for all of his ideas being in there. But even Paul Kupperberg, who wrote Doom Patrol stories in the 70s and 80s, a lot of his ideas are in there too. So it's I can't stop raving about it. I love it so much because it is so
Cool.
absolutely on the money for what we got in the comic books. It's the most absolute faithful adaptation that
nice.
that is good. Because I mean, Watchmen was very faithful as well. The movie.
Yeah,
And I liked
that
it.
one,
I
yeah.
liked Watchmen enough, and I understand people who didn't like it. Doom Patrol, I'd be shocked if there are Doom Patrol fans that don't like the TV show.
Yeah, I know a couple Doom Patrol fans and they love
It's
it.
amazing. I really, and I never even considered myself that big of a Doom Patrol Grant Morrison fan, but I'm just delighted with how good it works, and it's like, well, this is absolutely like the comic. It's amazing how good it is.
Yeah.
So perfectly cast. Ridiculous.
It's like Avengers. I was never an Avengers fan, but now
Is that
I'm like,
right? Really?
I love the movies. Yeah, because I told you on the last pod, or
I never
when we
paid
were just
attention.
talking,
Go on.
X-Men was a popular team-up book when I was a kid.
Sure.
X-Men
Well, yeah,
and
sure,
Justice
that's
League.
true.
We'll
like,
say the cartoon.
Avengers were kind of like the C-list team. You'd be like, oh, it's Avengers,
Yeah,
Captain
no,
America,
and-
Iron Man.
Yeah, and you're right. Like
Yeah,
in
right.
the 90s, the Avengers really did get crappy. So
Yeah.
I get it. I know I get it. And I wasn't reading it then. I was, I read it in the 70s and in the 80s when it was good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
West Coast Avengers. I loved West Coast Avengers back in the day.
The
I
Avengers
was
were
always
always
like when Vision
Yes.
showed up.
yeah, and the Avengers were always guest stars on other cartoons, like
Yeah,
on
that's right.
Spider-Man
That's
and
true.
stuff, like Captain America
Yep,
be on there.
yep.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
cool. When they would show up, I'd be like, oh, cool, Captain America. But I never would seek out like an Avengers book. I just thought it was cool when they would show up on like Spider-Man or X-Men or something.
I love the George Perez's run. That's when I read all those.
In the 60s, when they had the Marvel Superheroes cartoon, and they had those Captain America episodes where it was Cap and the 4 Avengers. It was, Hawkeye and Giant Man and the Wasp with Cap and Quicksilver.
Yeah.
And those were fantastic. Oh, God, I was so thrilled. I mean, and they did several Avengers stories. Because they even did Avengers 3 where the Hulk leaves the Avengers with the Space Phantom.
Yeah.
I shall send you to limbo. Good stuff, man.
I always read them when Hercules was on the team. With Hercules and Vision, I think, was on there.
And when Wonder Man and Beast were buddies.
Yeah. When he went on the David Letterman show.
Yes.
Remember that
80s. One? Yeah.
Yeah, I was in him right in that around that part. I think Black Panther was on the team. And She-Hulk joined them after Secret War. She was on there.
My first Avengers comic was the Treasury Edition oversized comic from the 70s. And it had the reprints of the origin of the Vision, and even that story, even Vision can cry, or even an android can cry.
Yeah.
And then it had the marriage of Yellow Jacket and the Wasp. And
I remember that.
So and a Black Panther story I remember, or at least I know Black Panther was definitely on the team, because I'm like, who's that guy that looks like Batman? And it's like, oh, that's not Batman.
Yeah.
That's Black Panther. Oh wow.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. And for a little bit, sometimes he had a cape and sometimes he didn't.
Yeah.
I always was confused. Oh, I
remember the version that
That's
had
funny.
the cape.
I only saw the cape version much later in life. For me, he never had the cape when I saw him. So
yeah, I was in where he had it or not. Yeah, and we were little and 7, maybe 6, 7, and when I first saw the Avengers with Vision, and same with Wolverine, my cousin told me his name was Wolverine, and I'm like, okay, and then my. Then I said, well, what's this guy? I looked at the Vision. What's his name? And they said, oh, that's Iron Man's brother's brother. That's Iron Man's brother. Like, yeah, that was his name. So for a long time, I called the Vision Iron Man's brother. Because they have that little widow's peak thing.
Oh, that's
I like how your cousins and your dad and everyone always messed with you with these characters.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And then, and at first when we got comics, we just look at them and draw from them. And then eventually I'd sit down and start reading them. And then I'm like, wait, his name's not brother. And then I look at Wolverine. It's like, there's no L, Wolverine. And I didn't know how to say Wolverine. I didn't know how to pronounce it. And I asked my mom. She read it to me. I'm like, oh. And then I remember Rogue from the X-Men. I didn't know how to say that. I used to call her Rogu.
Oh.
And then I asked my mom, and she said, oh, that's Rouge.
Sure.
Because the makeup Rouge. So for a long time, I called her Rouge.
She had red hair, so it makes sense that her name might be Rouge.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I didn't know her name until the movie or the cartoon or something like that. I heard it. Like, her name's Rogue. I thought it was.
I grew up with a DC fan who thought Brainiac's name was Brannick. And I'm like, no, it's Brainiac. Jeez. And finally the cartoon came out, and I'm like, see? And the interesting one that Bendis and I talked about was he was going through all these different. I don't even know what if he's in a group or not, but he mentioned Paladin, as he called him, and I'm like, Paladin,
yeah,
and he's like, yes, and he's like, you mean Paladin? And he goes, I don't know. He goes, it's spelled like Aladdin. I always thought it was Paladin. I'm like, no, it's Paladin.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it was funny. I'm like, wow. I'm like, I didn't expect that from Brian. Brian's, again, it's while you grow up, you don't know.
Yeah, we used to get all the creators' names wrong, like Sal Buscema.
Sure. Oh, God,
yeah.
For Sienkiewicz, for Sienkiewicz.
Yeah, Sienkiewicz,
and, my dad, my favorite is, like, for Submariner. My dad called him Submariner. Because, and I've heard people use, even in modern day, referring to submarine captains, he's a submariner.
Yeah, I always knew because the baseball team, the Mariners.
That's how I knew. Yeah.
That's what I. Yeah, that's what I knew.
Also from the cartoon, Lord Namor of Atlantis is the Prince of the Deep.
Oh yeah.
The noble submariner.
Rockman and.
I forget what they sing in the chorus. Lord Namor, stronger than a whale, he can swim anywhere. He can breathe underwater and can fly through the air. Hello.
Got Speedos. His costume is swimming trunks. No, Rockman and Bernard.
For those feet. If there's a costume-appropriate Submariner, he's going barefoot in the men's room. Sorry, Artie.
Oh, my God.
He's got to clean his wings every 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, that's rough, man. I couldn't take that.
Imperious Rex. Someone clean my winged feet.
My winged. Yeah, it was always hard to read the Thor comics when I was a kid too.
Yeah. Yep.
Thou.
I was like, man, I don't
What
get
hast
it.
thou?
Yeah, Thor. I don't know if it's. I'm sure it's different for different kids, but here for me in the '90s, Thor was like almost like a D-list character. He
Wow.
was so far down on a list of Marvel characters. He was like nobody cared about
Well,
Thor.
got so
It was
bad
like
that he had
Yeah.
Eric.
Yeah.
What's his Masterson? Thunderstrike.
yeah, it was like
Yeah, he was bad. Yeah.
like the X-Men, Punisher, Daredevil, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man. Like those are the top. Wolverine, of course. Like those are
Yeah.
the top Marvel heroes when I was a
Sure.
kid. Then the next tier down was like Black Panther, Captain America, Iron Man, and then Thor was even below
Yeah.
those guys.
What got me into Thor was Walt Simonson, that Beta Ray
Yep.
Bill cover. That's the first one I got. The one, or maybe that one or the one before, but that's the one I remember. And then I read all of Walt Simonson's Thor. It was so good. And to this day, Beta Ray Bill is one of my favorite Marvel characters, and he's just so cool. That run was fantastic.
There's rumors that he might be in Thor 4.
And it makes sense because they're going
Yeah, he's supposed
with
to
the
be in,
with the Guardians. It would make sense that it's going to be a cosmic
Yeah.
story that they should run into Beta Ray Bill.
And they've been hinting. They had a statue of him in one of the movies. His face was on one of the
Ragnarok. It was on that pillar of those
Oh, that's
champions.
right.
Yeah.
and he has Stormbreaker as the Beta Ray Bill's hammer. That's
Right.
that's his name of
Right.
his hammer. So man, that'd be
Oh,
so
yeah.
cool. It would be cool if they did that same story where he picks up the hammer.
Sure.
They fight. He picks
Oh,
up the
that'd
hammer.
be absolutely. I think that's almost a given in terms of, oh my God, it's another one, and he could say something like,
Yeah, I feel
when
like-
he sees it happen, not another one.
Yeah. Captain America kind of stole that thunder a
I
little
get
bit.
it,
though.
stole that thunder.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, but when Beta Ray Bill took the hammer, Thor lost his power. He reverted to human. Remember, he reverted to Don
Yes.
Blake, Dr. Blake, and then he yelled "Father" like Clark Kent did.
Exactly.
Father.
In Superman 2.
That was such a good story. And Beta Ray Bill wasn't a bad guy. He was just
Yeah,
worthy.
exactly. No,
I thought that was
and him being an alien and everything. And no, Alien Thor is a brilliant idea. I was lucky. I'm pleased to say that it was Jack Kirby's art and a Treasury-sized Thor, and also the Marvel cartoons, because they would take the little Kirby art. And yeah, I mean everyone. I mean it's the worst limited animation in the world. But that said, it's cool to me because they really use the real art from the comic book pages. And the origin of Captain America, or when the Avengers revive Captain America, it's right from the Avengers 4. That's amazing.
Yeah, and Hawkeye was in that story. Yeah, and Hawkeye was in a cartoon. I think it was I think Hawkeye and Black Widow were only in one or
Iron
two
Man.
cartoons, and the original X-Men were in one of the cartoons.
With the Submariner. They were. It was a Fantastic Four story that they kind of redrew, and instead of the Fantastic Four, they made it the X-Men. And yeah, Professor X is there, and the Angel's there, and Cyclops.
Yeah,
because they're in the building, the Baxter Building, and and Doctor Doom.
Was
Doctor
cool.
Doom sends the Baxter Building into space or something like that. And Doctor Doom was great.
And
Doctor Doom had his had his mask on, and you can he sounded like a guy in an iron mask.
I wonder why they don't have those anymore, like so you can watch them
You can find
anywhere.
them on
You know.
YouTube. I know you can find them on YouTube.
Yeah, there's the whole episodes on YouTube. Yeah, and I I always thought too that nobody could draw Thor but Kirby. But then when Walt Simonson drew him, it's like, man, he drew him. He's my favorite Thor artist, and no one could draw him ever since him. Nobody could draw to that level. You know,
I did like
because
I
he's
did like
exaggerated.
the way Romita drew Thor. I thought he did a good job, and I did like. I love Dan Jurgens writing and drawing Thor. I thought he was a great Thor creator. That kind of gets forgotten sometimes. And I'm telling you, man, Esad Ribic and Jason Aaron, they're telling epic currently, truly. And I mean, the Jane Foster as Thor stuff is only part of the story because, in a very smart move, the Odin son was always still part of the story, even when he wasn't worthy to hold the hammer. It was like half the book was Jane Foster and half the book was about the Odin son dealing with, well, if I'm not Thor, then who am I? And it was great. And also, they show, the different ages of Thor. So you got really young Thor that didn't give a damn and was drinking and being crazy and stuff and young. And then you had ancient Thor who had his daughters and he was missing an eye like Odin was missing an eye. And he also lost an arm. And you never know how he lost an arm. But it was the three ages of Thor. And it was like if Thor was in Heavy Metal magazine. Because Esad Ribic's art is just beautiful. And, Jason's an amazing writer. He really is. Jason is, ever since he's broken through, there's never a bad Jason Aaron story. And he can do everything. He can do comedy,
Cool.
he can do sci-fi, he can do action. His Wolverine in the X-Men, where Wolverine was in charge of the school, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah, that was
funny. Good. He can do anything. And he wrote regular amazing Wolverine stories, and he wrote amazing Spider-Man stories, and everybody that he's done. Yeah, I can't rave enough about Jason. He's amazing. So there.
I like that.
I'm trying to think of what else, like Iron Man.
I love the. I was a big X-Men guy up until with Byrne, and then Paul Smith, and then after that with the Image guy, Silvestri, all of that stuff. Then that's when after Cable showed up, that's when I stopped reading. I didn't like it no more. I wasn't a big Cable guy. Well, and I have to confess, I've never been a big X-Men guy. But and it's funny because my boss at Sporting News Radio, who was also into comics, he loves Cable. He loves Cable. Oh,
and he had a Cable.
He must be about 10 years younger.
Exactly. Yeah. And he literally, he had like a Cable action figure in his recording studio. And that was
Cable's from my era, but I never liked him. I liked all the older stuff, like the Nightcrawler.
Wolverine with the brown suit and Nightcrawler.
I still liked his yellow one, but I liked the stories better when he wore the brown suit. I like some of the 90s X-Men stuff.
I like Bishop. I was always a Bishop guy.
Oh,
I didn't like it. He messed it up too for me. Bishop messed it up, and Bishop would have been cool for that one story because he had to get somebody who killed somebody, so he tried to change the past. But then he stuck around.
I agree. There are more bad
bad
Bishop stories than good Bishop stories. I completely agree with that.
Yeah. One of my funniest things, Art, is when we were first hanging out and we're just hanging around drawing, just doodling stuff.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, Art just goes, "Man, Bishop sucks."
Bishop sucks. Yeah. Well, he messed up everything.
And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "The X-Men." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, Bishop."
He was good for a story, but then they kept him around, tried to fit him in. And remember, the other thing he was okay with was Age of Apocalypse. He was the only guy who remembered the real timeline. But then he was okay there. But then it seemed like they didn't really. I don't know what happened. Like he remembered it, but he didn't really fix it. I forgot how they fixed it because there was a lot of books. It was like many books to keep up, and some of the books were awesome, and some were just okay.
There was some 2000s Bishop story that I liked, and I can't remember which one it was. And that's really in particular where I like Bishop, going other than his initial first appearance. But I was going to ask you guys about the Legion and the Legion of Superheroes. Like, were you guys at all hardcore Legion people or no?
Nah, that was not it.
No, that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. Like in the 70s, I always say, and I told this to Jeff Johnson, he always laughs about it. I'm like, in the 70s, there were two doors. There was an X-Men door, and there's a Legion of Superheroes door. And they were equally popular when new X-Men came out, and the Legion was still very popular. Right. I was a Legion guy. I love the Legion. I love those guys and women. I think they're fine. To the point, there's a character on Supergirl this season that isn't a Legionnaire, but is connected to the Legion. And that's all I'll say. I won't go into detail if you don't know.
I know who they are just because working and researching and stuff. And just the other thing, I never read the comics unless they were guest starred in like some of the Superman books. So I know who they are, but I never read the Legion issues.
I always love you. Always put Chameleon Boy in the Patrick the Wolf Boy stance, which he's kind of creepy.
Yeah, he always looks like he looks savage.
Absolutely, which is good. I like that. But I would love to see a Tiny Titans Little Legion crossover. You got to do.
You know what? I reveal a secret. I don't know if I said it before, but originally when we were creating Tiny Titans with DC, they were going to do a Little Legion at that time. It was going to be Little Legion. It was another one. It was 3 Tiny Titans, Little Legion, and one other one. So that was one of the things they were going to launch with that wave, but it just never took.
You should get Bendis, and really, like the next time the three of us together, it should be like, all right, Brian, you love the Legion, you like Artie's, you know Artie's a good guy, you like his art and everything. You could write it and you could draw it, and because seriously, like you guys awesome. Totally. And I know he's got something brewing with the Legion. He's been
cool because I watched the cartoon.
Oh yeah, no, and the kid with Superboy. With Superman, that was great. That was a good cartoon.
Yeah, I like that.
Really good cartoon.
That new movie just came out.
Fatal 5. Yeah, I haven't put it out yet, but I was telling Franco earlier, Eric Carrasco. I'm looking at my Skype history. He wrote the Justice League versus the Fatal Five, and he was a story editor from season 2 till this last season of Supergirl. So I just had him on the podcast, and I put it out this week. And he was great. He was really interesting. And the Justice League Fatal Five cartoon, it's on DC Universe. So if you didn't buy the DVD, you can stream it for free there because it's part of the service, and it's good. It's it.
Yeah, I like
good.
the.
Did you see it, Scoop?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I saw it. I liked it.
It was really good. Yeah, and it's got Starboy's in it and Jessica Cruz.
It's like a Justice League episode.
And my buddy Susan, Wonder Woman, she kind of she's been leading the fan charge to tell everybody, hey, talk to Warner Animation, bother them on social media and say, because she hears it all the time about how great that cast was, the Justice League cast. And it's like, you 7 need to do a new movie. And at least in this movie, it's the Trinity. So it's the Justice League Superman, George Newberry, and it's Newburn. Thank you. I get everybody's name wrong. And what's his face? Boy, I'm blanking. Kevin Conroy, of course, is Batman, and Susan's Wonder Woman. But they have Miss Martian, and they have Jessica Cruz, and they have Starboy. But it's good. It's great. And it's drawn in the Bruce Timm style. So, yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah,
it's excellent.
Cool.
I always like the original, or like the 4 or 5 guys, like Lightning Lad and
Cosmic Boy.
I forgot their names.
Cosmic
Boy, Saturn Girl, and Chameleon Boy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And Brainiac 5.
And I love I'm telling you, I love Monel.
Yeah, Monel's cool too. Yeah, see, I know him all, and I like him all, but I never read the books when I was a kid. But I got to know him later. But you know what I really liked as a kid? Kind of obscure. Starman by Steve Ditko. The Steve Ditko Starmans.
Yeah,
they were in
Starman again.
Yeah,
which Starman was he?
He was yellow and red. He had little goggles on.
Was he the royalty? No.
I don't know what that is. No, he was part of there was a comic called Adventure Comics where half of it was Plastic Man and half of it was Starman. Yeah, he was cool, man. He was red and yellow, and he had like a red super yellow.
He has star on it.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know who he is. They made a Justice League Unlimited toy of him.
Yeah. He was always one of my favorite heroes, but that's the only book I've ever saw him in was a team-up book with Plastic Man. Like, half of it was Plastic Man and half of it was Starman. And it was drawn by Ditko, I think.
Look it up, sir.
And, man, I really liked him. And he was one of the ones that eventually became the new Starman that, hello, love, that guy.
James heard him in the story. Well, that's why I was considered... Yeah, James was smart. He kind of connected all the continuity of all the different Starmen over the years.
Yeah, he updated them to more modern. Because that guy was more like Charlton Comics looking guy. I don't know if they got him from Charlton Comics or, but he was real Silver Agey.
Yeah, he is the Prince. That is the Prince version of Starman. Yeah.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I forget
Prince
what
Gavin.
The stories were, but I would read them when I was a kid because Plastic Man cartoon was on Saturday mornings, so I would go to. That's the book I would buy, Plastic Man, and it was funny because I got like 3 in a row, and when you're a kid, you don't realize that the books come out every month. You just go and say, oh, here's another different one, a new one, and then the Plastic Man adventures were only half a book, so they would continue and leave cliffhangers all the time. And recently, I only got those 3 in a row, but I used to love Plastic Man, Starman, and recently, just about 2 years ago, I finally got the next chapter of that Plastic Man story, and I read it with the trowel. There was a guy with a trowel hand for a cement mixer guy, and he was a gangster, but he had a trowel, and he was about to burn Plastic Man with a newspaper. And they said because he couldn't cut him with the trowel because it would just poke him. And then he said, that don't hurt. I just bend around it. He goes, yeah, but you're going to melt with this fire. So that's how it left off. But he got out of it. Like on page 2, you beat him up. But I like that. And Starman was always real cool. And I like to work on a custom Miko of that guy. It would be fun.
Paul Levitz was the writer. Steve Ditko was the artist.
Oh, cool. Next time I see Levitz, I gotta say that to him.
And what happened to him was he became Pure Energy, and then he hit the Will Patton Starman. That was more like part of the Green Lantern. Like there was a Starman Corps, kind of like Green Lantern and Nova and everything.
Oh, cool.
And so Will Patton has Prince Gavin's essence in his body because he was hit by the energy that was Prince Gavin. Prince Gavin turned into pure energy and hit Will Patton, and so he's residing inside of Will Patton, and basically that.
Yeah, 'cause he had the bracelets that would give him powers. Yeah, and I knew the new guy. He has a staff.
Jack's the Golden Age Starman's son. And
cool. Is he related to this guy too?
Well, that was part of James's whole continuity, was to kind of explain what happened to all the other different Starmen over the years. And cool. I mean, when Will was when we first see Will in James's Starman, he's in an intergalactic jail, chained, and because it was in the epilogue of like one story where it's like, and in this world there was a man called Starman named Prince Gavin, and blah 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 blah. And there's another Starman of interplanetary renown that is currently in a prison, and you see him all shackled and everything, and an alien looking at him. Cool. It was great. It was a great idea, the way that James kind of sewed everything up, and also even creating, and now I'm forgetting the name of the city, that Opal City, making that like kind of the Art Deco original Starman's home and Jack's home as well. I love James's Starman. That was a tremendously great series. And I'm kind of glad that DC has respected James and been like, okay, unless James wants to do it, no more Starman stories, because it had a good ending to it too. He had a baby.
Yeah, that's cool. And now
he went to take care of his kid.
Oh, cool. And Stargirl's connected to that too, right?
Well, because what happened?
Because she has the staff.
What happened was Starman retired, and Star Spangled Kid was originally just a street level brawler with stripes and everything, and they were,
Yeah, the big guy stripes.
So he got Starman's cosmic rod, and he was using it, and then Stargirl showed up, and she found one of Ted Knight's old giant rods, and that was her cosmic rod, and everything. So she was kind of half Star Spangled Kid and half Starman, and that's how she was. Again, that was Jeff.
Oh, that's cool. Like tonight, hi Mary, like that guy.
Yes, I was. Meanwhile, when I was Starman, he was. He was the original Justice League or Justice Society member, and
I liked all that. Yeah, that was.
He had that story, the Golden Age, where it was right after the war. What happened to all the Golden Age heroes? Starman went crazy. He was schizophrenic, and he couldn't kind of hold his crap together. And he was more comfortable at night. And he was basically living in an observatory and just constantly looking at the stars and everything. And he would fly with the cosmic rod in his hands over by there.
Yeah.
But, I loved. And then by the time that James did the story about Jack Knight, his son, Ted was not as he was on medication or whatever, and he was just an old man because he was in his 70s or whatever. So he couldn't be Starman anymore. But he was great, and it was just kind of like how the whole generation gap between a father and son, and the son doesn't understand what the father's about until he gets older and starts realizing that his dad's a good guy. It was a great. Oh my god, I love that. And Tony Daniels drew the hell. Not Tony Daniels. Tony. Oh God bless it. Tony Harris. Tony Harris drew the hell out of Starman. It was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, great series. Unbelievable series. Loved it.
I like it.
I'm gonna have to get going, guys. I'm getting tired.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say.
I'll have to chat with you tomorrow, Johnny, about the world.
Yes, I know. I got subpoenas coming.
Secret stuff.
I got subpoenas coming out of my.
No, not secret stuff. Just click on any news website. You'll see it.
Cool. Yeah, we'll talk. We can talk tomorrow. Beautiful,
all right, guys. I like Harold's very much, Lewis.
Oh yeah, Harold. I like that.
Yeah.
You're a good man, Scoot.
I'll talk to you guys later. See you,
brother. Yeah, man. Cool. Okay. Bye.
Here you go.
Mm-hmm. I got to find some more of those adventure comics.
Yeah, those are fun.
So I want to see if I could get the whole run of the Starman.
My favorite adventure comics were when they would alternate between Aquaman and the
Flash, right?
The Spectre before the Flash, the Spectre. And it was those 70s stories, where they were much more horrific, and he would he was the spirit of vengeance, and he'd turn a guy into paper, and then he'd cut him to death with giant scissors.
Oh man,
Michael Fleischer, or a guy was turned into wax and he melted, and you saw his hands melting away like wax and stuff. They were very, very crazy, and it was in fact Harlan Ellison called the stories "bug shit crazy" in a meaning a compliment. And Michael Fleischer took offense. And he's like, "How dare you say that?" And he's like, I'm not crazy. And it's like, no, I was paying you a compliment, man. Calm down. Take it easy.
Yeah. They're awesome. They're awesome. Nutty.
It was very strange about how, like, he's like, I don't like Harlan Ellison insulting me. And he's like, I was complimenting you. Sorry. You know. What's wrong with you, idiot? So, no, they were great. And Jim Raparo was the artist. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's good.
Good stuff, man. I loved him.
Yeah. I'm surprised, like, when that Terrificon had all these superstar guys at that last one. All these historical, legendary guys.
Well, that's, I just had Mitch on the podcast on Word Balloon, and we were talking about that. No, he gets it. He does that, honestly, this sounds like a commercial for the con, but I mean it, because we've seen it in face value. He wants his guys, which are our generation's guys, but he also wants the current good guys, too. So it really is 50-50.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, Mitch Gerrits and Tom King are going to be there for Batman. And at the same time, Jim Steranko's going to be there, and Jerry Ordway's coming back, because they're really good friends. I love Jerry Ordway.
Cool. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Jerry Ordway's cool.
Absolutely.
I got invited. I got to see if I could fit it in.
Oh, I hope so, sir.
Because it's August 9th or so.
8th through the 10th, I think.
Yeah, because a lot of time my kids' birthdays, and they go back to school, and we always do family vacations around that in early August, because then it's the last hurrah of summer before they go back to school.
I can respect that, as I'd say.
Yeah. My son will be 16 this year.
Gordy's going to be 16. Wow. Has his voice changed?
It's so... Yeah, a little bit. But it's the cool thing about it is, like, when I look at him, he's almost as tall as me. Like, we're almost seeing eye to eye, like, real close. He's real skinny, like, real thin guy.
Forever. That's fantastic.
Yeah, he looks like Groot from the because Groot looks all Gordy-ish. Yeah, that's what we were look at him looking all Gordy-ish. Yeah, that's what he looks like. Teenage Groot.
That's
kind of funny. Yeah, and the kids are good. Like, I'm getting a dose of them. Whenever they have a day off, I'm getting a dose of what the summer's going to be like with them. But they're fully mobile now, and they're doing their thing. And they said, "Dad, I'm going out." Okay, but they're still. Gordy's got friends with cars now.
So
all of a sudden,
next year he's going to go for his driver's license. Wow.
Yeah, we're going to take him for. We're going to probably take him to a private school for drive because got it. And remember when we were in school, public school anyway, it was included in the school.
Yes.
Remember, but now it's like $300 or $400 more.
To do it in the public school, they charge you extra. Interesting.
Yeah, we got paid. So, plus there's only like 3 cars in the school compared to all these. So we're like, why don't we just? And he'll probably get a better.
I was scared as hell, and my teacher was a douche, and my stepmother was really jerky about it. My dad had the patience of a saint, and he got me through it. To the point where I was even driving. He had an auto radiator repair service, and he would go to gas stations and pick up people's radiators from the gas station, fix them, and then bring them back because the owners of the car would just be dealing with their gas station and stuff. And he would have me drive the delivery truck during the summer, and my back, no matter what the weather was, my back was just a pool of sweat because I was so nervous. And he was great. He was like, "It's fine, John. You're doing fine. You're doing great." And he really got me through it, and I did learn how to drive, thank God. But I was nervous as hell when I was taking it in public school. So I think it's good to do private school.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to me because if we're going to pay $400, I'd rather just go to get a real, learn more, And I remember them telling me in school that I was too cautious too. I was at 10 and 2 with the hands, I was real cautious.
Oh, I was gripping the seat.
And they told me, relax a little.
I was gripping the steering wheel that I'm sure I would have left it bent, with my finger imprints in the wheel and stuff. It was, it was terrible. I remember, I can't remember that Mr. Galbraith, that was his name. Him and Mr. Streimitz. Mr. Streimitz, my mother and father don't drive this way. Well, I'm not your mother and I'm not your father, so you're going to drive the way I'm driving over by there. That's how he talked.
Pair of
He was, exactly. Rachel, I don't have a mansion yet. A string of Peloponnese.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to drive. I've never been driving,
I know, that's going to be awesome. When my nephews have driven, I was like, "This is fantastic." I'm always really excited. Like, calm down, Uncle John. We're in our 20s now. I know, but it's still funny to me.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, you could sit in there and let them go.
No, that's good.
Yeah, I might have to buy another car because I'm going to have 2. Yeah, Audrey's 13. She'll be.
No, I
believe
get
it. So you should be driving too.
No, and I think you're right, and I think it might, I mean, it's a big responsibility, but you know your kids.
Yeah. Yeah, my next big royalty check. I don't know. They're not very big, but maybe I'll get a car. I got to see if I could get Gilbert into
enough libraries.
Make a movie of Gilbert.
A movie, sure. Gilbert, the movie.
Yeah, selling. I don't know what it's sold yet, but it'll.
Do you have any old man fish characters in Gilbert that I can play?
I got his dad, King Nauticus.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. I don't want to step on Sonny's toes if he's claiming that character.
Nah, not Nauticus. He wants to be something. But you and Sonny are the guys I got. You, Sonny, and Spidey. Yeah.
And Skokie,
so I got a team of voices. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Skokie, Spidey, and you and Sonny.
No, you got a full voice cast waiting to go. I know, man.
And if I need, I'll go Mike Collins, our guy who does Big Booyah on the commercials.
That's right. On the Illinois Lottery commercials. That's so right. Mike's a good guy too.
Yeah, those are my voice acting.
Troupe. Exactly.
Guys.
Your Mercury Theater. That's what Orson Welles said.
Yeah. Because anytime I do a voice, it sounds like my voice. That's my voice doing a voice.
That's a good idea. Mike's a good idea too. No, I think honestly, we're waiting for the IE Empire to be turned into animation, and we'll all be ready for that.
And I got a few pitches lined up for next week, so we'll see what happens. Yeah. Based on the rumors I'm hearing that are, well, not even rumors, they're being told to me. So we'll see if when I'm being told is truthful, then we'll see. But you never know.
Regardless if this is connected to you or not, and this is just me saying this, I wonder what's going to happen to DC Universe, if it will still be a separate channel, or will it get folded into Warner's streaming plans? Because everyone knows that Warner's is going to do like Disney and have their... Because also, they said in the headlines that... they cut back the episode order for Swamp Thing. It was either going to be like,
I heard that
15
too.
episodes, and now it's only going to be 10. And it's like, at first people were like, I wonder if they're going to cancel the entire network for DC Universe. And it's like, no, they're not going to do that. They're just going to probably fold it into DC, Warner Brothers streaming. I would hope.
Right.
Because I would hope whatever we're getting now would be available for Warner Brothers streaming as well. I would think.
Yeah, I've always heard that, I don't know if it's true or rumors or where I heard it, but that they didn't get enough subscribers for it. And that they're struggling.
Oh, no, and I believe they're struggling.
I'm not sure if that's true. It makes sense.
They're making animation and live-action television, which isn't cheap. So they, this is... I was talking earlier to Franco about what's going on with Star Trek with CBS, because they have the new show that's coming out at the end of the year with Patrick Stewart as Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah. Short.
Number one.
Short.
Where's Chakotay? Chakotay, by the way, Chakotay will not be in the Picard series. Let me just tell you right now. I'm sorry.
I
don't
like
know how to break it to you.
Chakotay. Tuvok.
No Tuvok, no Chakotay. But yeah, like Discovery has really been financially a failure because they haven't gotten enough subscribers, and half of the Star Trek audience, it's as bad, if not worse, than the Star Wars people that complain, and not in a mean. At least I don't. I mean, some people say, "Oh, well, you're all a bunch of alt-right haters," and it's like, no, that's not it.
Yeah,
because we love the Chakotay Voyager show that had a bunch of women in very major roles, and it's just what I don't like about Discovery is they lie about it, like the PR machine, and they're like, "Oh, we got a person of color as our lead. That's never happened on Star Trek before," and it's like, really, tell that to Avery Brooks on Deep Space Nine when he was the first black captain.
Yeah, he's the captain.
And then it's like, well, we've got a woman on the lead, and that's never happened before. And really, tell that to Kate Mulgrew, Mrs. Colombo. Janeway.
Yeah,
it's like
Janeway. She was Mrs. Colombo.
Totally. She's great.
Yeah, Janeway.
And Seven of Nine.
I liked her as the captain.
The half Klingon, half human woman, B'Elanna Torres. It's like you had a bunch of strong. And on Deep Space Nine, you had Dax and you had Kira. So you've had all these strong women on these shows, and it's like, yes, sorry, the '90s beat you to it, guys. I don't know how to break it to you. And
the original Star Trek beat everybody because they had a
Artie, that's my biggest complaint because they'll be like, "Oh, Gene Roddenberry, he was so misogynistic, he was so terrible." And it's like, okay, now first of all, yeah, he was a horn dog when it came to the women. That's totally true. But some things about Star Trek were true that they all pin on the original series, and they're like, well, Star Trek has really never been about diversity. Really? with Sulu and Uhura, and even having a Russian at the height of the Cold War. It's like, well, of course, by now we're at peace. Of course, there's a Russian on the Enterprise. I mean, that was groundbreaking stuff back in the '60s. You know, there's a ton of prominent black people on Star Trek Beyond Uhura and everything too, like Dr. Daystrom, who creates Nomad, exterminate. I must sterilize. Yeah, I mean, you know,
I saw some of that one with what's his name? Deep Space Nine Captain. I saw a few of those episodes.
I love that show. That's my favorite Star Trek.
Because I saw the one where they with
That's
the
a good
Shrivels.
one.
I saw
that was a really funny one. Yeah,
because they flash back into the other
and it's
the other show.
The way they shot it, and they insert them in the scenes.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was, and I love at the end when he's talking to Kirk. He's like, Benjamin Sisko, sir. Right. I just got transferred. Hello.
Yeah, Sisko.
Oh, carry on. Yes.
So I remember I always found out who they were because the toys were popular.
Yes.
The Playmates toys. And when I would look for my X-Men toys or whatever I was finding, I'd always find those guys. And I had a few friends who were looking for those, and I would pick them up and trade them at the shows. At that time, I was selling Power Ranger toys at shows for a lot of money.
I bet you were. Yeah, absolutely.
We were selling White Tiger Zords for $300. But I remember that. Yeah, but I felt naughty, dirty with that. So I got to stop this. It didn't feel right.
Well, you know, I'm sorry that you're now more into what's going on behind the scenes with Star Trek right now, Artie, because honestly, as a toy guy, you'd understand. Because what they're saying is, and there's no confirmation from CBS, but what they've been saying is that Discovery, one of the ways Discovery isn't doing well is none of the toy makers want Discovery toys. None of the big, like Todd McFarlane or Mattel or whoever. You know, I don't even know the players anymore. But like Eagle Moss, the Starship makers are the only people that are really actively doing anything with the ships. But beyond that, like, there's no call for a Michael Burnham doll or a Spock in the Discovery show or a Captain Pike or whatever. And it's like, well, yeah, because they changed the uniforms too much, and you know, it's dumb. And I mean, I get it because I really think J.J. Abrams, and he did the same thing with Star Wars. I think he changed a bunch of things and created BB-8 and things like that. You know, obviously to sell toys because he gets the money for creating these new characters and everything, or having C-3PO with a red arm.
Yeah, and I think also, like, after watching, I just saw The Force Awakens like 2 days ago, and I'm thinking, just looking at it, and
should we
even
put the music in if we're talking about Star Wars right now?
Yeah, we could. Because I always think, because now with even the stormtroopers, they look different. They got different armor, and not only the head, like not only a helmet, but when Finn was taking off his stuff, like he was on the desert, and you see his chest, and it's different even on the back. It's totally different. And I'm wondering if that is because now if they make the new armor for these new movies, I'm wondering if that's because now Disney owns the Stormtrooper now instead of because I know there's an issue with the very first original Star Wars movie won a whole bunch of awards and got into the the Film Hall of Fame. I forgot what they call it. AFI. Is it called? Yeah, it's in there, but the special editions are not because that's not what won. It's kind of like when they induct Chicago, the band Chicago, and they only induct 3 guys, but they can't induct the new guys, you know. And so, the
original cut of Star Wars is
Star Wars, like the original cut is so, and then the special editions, like nobody knows who owns those things.
Oh, I've never heard that. That's very interesting.
Yeah, because if you look at, I just observing because certain Star Wars. Oh, this is what made me think about it because it was on TNT. They had a marathon. They showed, but they're going to have a marathon Memorial Day. They're going to show all of them in a row according to their commercials. But what I was watching just a few days ago, they showed them all out of order.
Yep.
They were showing Force Awakens, then Empire Strikes
Back. It was their May the 4th weekend deal.
Was that it?
That's exactly what it was. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, TNT has permission to show all these movies, and Netflix has permission to show a few. They got more than new ones. They don't have the originals. And then I'm thinking, now that George's original cut is in the AFI Hall of Fame, whatever, but the special editions are not. So I've always heard too that George made the special editions so he can own them. So then when he re-released the special editions, he owns those. So and then he made those the definitive version of Star Wars. So when you buy the DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, you get all of these new clips, things. And this is just me. This is just me thinking. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But I know that he did that to get ownership of them. So I'm thinking that's why Disney changed the Stormtrooper outfit. So now they can own the version of the Stormtrooper. Yeah, and what I noticed at Star Wars Celebration, which was kind of weird, was anytime, and it's showing up on the toys now, and it's making me think that I don't know if there's something to do with this. Like all of the versions of Luke Skywalker and all of the Star Wars Celebration, like all of the promotional stuff, was all young Luke, but it was really, really young Luke, where he almost looked really like a kid, like real, almost feminine, like they show him. It's like, but he's real boyish, and I don't know how to explain it, but like it's, like when Luke Mark Hamill went through transformation because he was in a car accident and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But when you see the early still photos, like costume
of the first movie.
The very, very first movie.
He was very pretty. He was very pretty.
Yeah, it's very heartthrobbing. And now when you see all the promotional material of that I saw at the Star Wars Celebration was young Luke, but he's real fair like a child. And then one of the new, it's interesting. And I'm wondering if that is because, is that something to do with Disney? And also the new package of the Stormtrooper Luke has him, and he almost looks like a girl, almost like they made him so cute that he doesn't look like Luke Skywalker as much. So I'm wondering if this is a theory. I wonder if they're trying to tie him into trying to make him look more like Rey, so he could tie into that, or maybe there's a flashback in a new movie. This is just my brain. Like this is me trying to heal. I'm on the couch, but I wonder if that's all tied to that. Like we never saw the promotion of Luke Skywalker look like this young before. Even in the first movie, it looks younger than he did in the movie.
That's funny. I'm looking at.
So if you look at the Star Wars Celebration, they had a poster that linked all the movies together, and it was a big banner. Where the Star Wars portion or the New Hope portion of that poster has young Luke looking really young. Yeah, and I wonder and I looked on the poster, and he's not on it as much as you would think, and either is Vader. Like on that big full of Vader's, and he started at Episode 3s, and he's in Rogue One, and he's not as on those posters. He's not the dominant guy on there, so it's really strange too. I'm wondering what they're thinking is, if there's something to do with Disney and something to do with the Stormtrooper design. I wonder if what's going on there. I wonder if it's anything to do with likenesses or rights to certain things.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's just me wondering.
What I know is, and again, it's so that he could get a cut of merchandise. That's kind of the cynical take on what JJ has done with the movies. Like I said, giving C-3PO a red arm. So now, whenever you sell a C-3PO figure with the red arm, JJ gets a cut of that money as well as Lucasfilms. Because I kind of think, as far as your theory goes, it's possible. I don't know. But, I mean, it just seems like... And also, the idea of when they made the special editions, that was obviously before Disney bought out Lucas and everything. So maybe in terms of whatever deal Lucas had with Fox, that was to get more ownership and everything back in the day. I know that they have the original cut of Star Wars for AFI because their whole idea is what they call film preservation. So they want to preserve that original version of Star Wars more so than the special edition because the 1977 release was the cultural phenomenon. So that
it was the groundbreaking
I mean, it's
movie.
Like if Willis Cooper had remade King Kong a couple years after doing it in 1933 and added effects, it'd be like, no, it's that original. That because of the effects and everything that he did in the movie, that's what makes it special.
Yeah.
For that technology at that time. So.
Yeah, and I'm real curious too. Like they're going to launch the Star Wars streaming.
Yes, Mandalorian.
With the
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm wondering if because now that all these movies are on Netflix and now they're all on TNT, I wonder if they're going to be able to get them all on this
Oh, no,
streaming
that's
service.
the plan. That they will be on Disney.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing I was talking about with Franco is Netflix made all these deals with these film and television companies before they got into the idea of doing it themselves. So as these contracts end, the contracts always have to be renewed, and as these contracts are ending, people are saying we're not going to stick with Netflix anymore. Disney Plus is pulling all of its, not only the Disney stuff, but now after merging with Fox, they got the whole Fox library too. So no, as soon as all this stuff's contract ends with Netflix, like as far as things that were made independent of Netflix, the only one that I don't have an answer on is like the Marvel TV shows where Netflix was a co-sponsor and paid for half. I don't know if those will always be on Netflix. They say for the time being they're going to continue to be on Netflix. But I don't know. But as far as what's being made for Mandalorian, it absolutely is going to be made for Disney Plus. So TNT will not get those.
And they even said Netflix is the reason why Breaking Bad was so successful.
Yes,
because I heard this. This is I saw something about it, but the Breaking Bad was doing okay, but the way season 4 ended with Breaking Bad, did you see it? You see it all, Johnny?
Go ahead.
Well, the way season 4 ended was an ending to the series. Like if it never picked up again, it would have been satisfying. But there was still more to go. But they did that. I heard this too. I think it was a Vince Gilligan interview saying that they weren't sure if they were going to get a season 5 because of the network, because of the what do you call them? No, the ratings.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The ratings for AMC, and then right at that time, Netflix Netflix started, and then they started showing Breaking Bad. So they had the first 4 seasons on Netflix, and then suddenly people's interest in it, and it became the number 1 show on Netflix. So that's what got them to do season 5 of Breaking Bad, and then season 5 of Breaking Bad became the most watched season of all the Breaking Bad seasons, and that's when it broke records of viewing, especially the ending. And I think all this came up because of last weeks or so I was hearing this, and I heard a lot of it because of the Game of Thrones ending, and they were comparing it to the Breaking Bad. People are saying the Breaking Bad finale is can't top that. It's the best ever. So, and then people are getting mad, and there's a few pictures of Walter White sitting on the throne of the Game of Thrones throne.
That's
that's cool.
That's very fun.
But they're like, I agree that's the best. That's the best finale.
That's what I've heard,
seen.
and I believe it. And eventually I'll sit down and watch Breaking Bad. But
and there's others like I really like Cheers. I thought was great, and
MASH had a great ending. I know your father would disagree, but you know.
Yeah, I never saw it.
And it's The Fugitive. The Fugitive actually had a good TV ending because. Absolutely, and it's a very dramatic encounter, like even a good fist fight between him and the one-armed man, and it's great because you kind of feel like, all right, finally, after however many seasons it was, that finally David Jansen gets a chance to wail on this guy and everything, and it's like, oh, that's good. It's very satisfying in a '60s TV sort of way, or but and I get it, and you're right, and then in fact, I'm going to be talking to Joe Henderson, my friend who is the showrunner for Lucifer that used to be on Fox, and when Fox blew up, it was Lucifer and Gotham that they're like, oh, what's going to happen to these shows? And they made the deal with Gotham, like, okay, you'll get one more half season to wrap things up. And Lucifer, they were going to cut it. They were going to cancel it. That was the end. And and luckily there were enough fans that loved the show that Netflix picked it up, and it hadn't been on Netflix prior to that. But then they put it on Netflix, and now they just dropped a new season 4. And there was another show like that. The guy who remember in The Matrix there was Agent Smith, but there was also Agent Jones, was the bigger guy with sunglasses.
Oh yeah, I just watched that last night.
Well, then that guy, that actor, and I'm Robert Taylor, I want to say is his name, Australian actor, big beefy guy. He made a great western that was on in the 2000s called Longmire, that was on A&E.
Yeah,
and it had a very passionately audience that followed the show, but it wasn't big enough for AMC, so they dropped it. And Netflix picked it up, and they made like 2 or 3 new seasons before they finished. So cool. I mean, it's been interesting. But now Netflix is kind of mortgaged to the hilt And I didn't know that because, they've got like literally over 150 million subscribers worldwide. So wouldn't you think if they're making $1 billion a month subscribers, that's enough money to pay for all the stuff they make? Apparently not. Yeah. And also, like you said about Breaking Bad being so popular on Netflix, they made a deal with Warner Brothers Television to extend their contract for Friends, because Friends reruns on Netflix is literally one of the top shows on Netflix.
Yeah, I heard something about this too.
And it's like, well, that shows you that Netflix's future. You'd think they would be the most like solid as far as a business, because they started it and they've had like House of Cards and Orange is the New Black and all these like popular shows and original series and stuff. But apparently they borrowed so much money and they're still paying it off that they're the ones that are in the biggest jeopardy, because a lot of their viewership is also based on these reruns of movies and TV shows. Right. So when these other companies pull all their stuff, now they're going to have to rely on all their original programming and stuff, or lesser shows. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And CBS...
Some of it is not that great.
And CBS and Netflix, they co-produced Star Trek Discovery, the new show. And Netflix, apparently, according to the behind-the-scenes rumors, they are not happy because it divided the audience, and half the Star Trek audience doesn't like it, and it's not getting the numbers that they thought it would get. And they paid for the first season. They put a lot of money into Star Trek Discovery, and they don't like the product they got. So this new Patrick Stewart show, they didn't make a deal with Netflix. They made it with Amazon Prime. So it's going to be on CBS All Access in the United States, and it's on that Space Channel in Canada, their sci-fi channel. But anywhere else internationally, you're only going to be able to get it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's interesting right now. All the streaming business is very interesting.
Yeah, it seems like it's hurting. It seems like Netflix is hurting for all this stuff, like the Disney one I could see, because I'm real curious at how it all plays out with the Star Wars, because they already took off. Star Wars Clone Wars is not on Netflix no more. Yep. They took it off. But they're still,
the movies are still there.
The Last Jedi's still up there. Force Awakens is not there. Like Force Awakens is not
Rogue
there,
One
but
is.
The Last Jedi is there. Yeah, and Han Solo. Yeah,
right.
Solo movie.
That's right. Yeah, the Solo movie.
So I'm real curious how they're gonna play it out.
I think when those contracts are wind down, they'll wind up on Disney Plus.
Because it would be cool to watch every Star Wars the way in order.
Oh yeah.
Like even put 2 and 3 and put Han Solo in there and Rogue One. It'd be real cool to watch them all like that.
One thing, and I agree with them, especially since the Disney deal with Fox is over. Here's my nerd wish that they put the 20th Century Fox music before the Lucasfilm logo comes on. Because that is so like and you're like, yes,
yeah.
It's like it's part of the intro. You kind of need it. It's very majestic.
Yeah, I wonder if they're gonna. Yeah, I wonder if they'll keep it in there on the original Star Wars movies.
I think they'll keep it on the old ones, but because that's funny because I always wonder that too. Or it depends whenever the copyright ends, because a lot of times the only time you'll see a movie studio update, but what you see before the title sequence starts or whatever, when it's just the logo of the studio, it's usually from the era that the film was created. Because like the Rocky movies had the United Artists logo. And United Artists is part of MGM now. And they had a piano intro for United Artists films that was very similar to parts of the Rocky soundtrack when it's just the piano. And it really fits the Rocky movies. And you never they've yet to update them where it's just the MGM United Artists logo now, where it's Leo the Lion roaring and stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. Although he sounds like Chewbacca.
Chewbacca.
So. That's cool. It's an interesting time, and that's why, I appreciate the ambition of all these companies trying to do streaming, but it is too much, and no one can afford to have everything. The one I'm holding out on is YouTube, because I really want to see Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid stuff. And I saw the free episodes that they have on YouTube, and they're amazing. They're so good. It's like, and they've already made season 2 of Cobra Kai.
Yeah,
and I love the idea of it, and like I said, based on the 2 episodes and everything I hear from people who have watched both seasons. But like, it's amazing. It's exactly what you want it to be.
Yeah, people
and it's
dig
like,
it.
You know, oh, thank God, Daniel-san, he's back.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, is he back? Oh, Daniel-san, but not Miyagi.
No, of course I know. Miyagi's very dead. He's very dead.
Yeah.
Yes,
He's all the way dead.
On the floor. I
He's
love
good,
Pat
man.
Morita. There's interviews with him, and you know, because he's from Southern California, and his real voice is just, "Hey man, how you doing, man?" And he was a stand-up comedian.
Like
yeah,
Cheech.
he was a stand-up comedian before he was a character actor, and it started with doing Arnold on Happy Days, and he was on Sanford and Son. And on his interview for the Television Academy, he has tons of Red Fox stories and how good Red Fox was to him, and how thankful he was in both his acting career and his stand-up career and everything. And it's great.
Cool.
No, and I mean that's the thing, like that whole how you say, that's all an act. He had a very Southern California American accent. Hey man, so
Red Fox standing by.
exactly, Red Fox standing by, Simply Red standing by, Red Button standing by.
Buttons. That's good stuff.
I was actually
Red
Robert
Buttons.
Bull when I was talking to him. We were talking about Red Buttons. I'm like, come on, man, that guy. I go, and he goes, oh no, Red Buttons. You got to give it up for Red Buttons, man. That whole never got a dinner bit. He goes, Christ, he wrote that for 40 years. He's like, no, I'm a big Red Buttons fan. I'm like, okay, we'll agree to disagree, no problem.
Oh, that's
cracking
cool.
me up that he's like defending Red Buttons. I'm like, okay, because I heard that Red Buttons. He had a variety show in the early '50s, like they made kinescopes of it, but they never filmed it. Like when you see I Love Lucy and stuff like that, it was live, and he ran through comedy writers like Neil Simon wrote for his show, and the guy who made MASH, Larry Gelbart, wrote for his show, and all these like top 50s comedy writers, and he'd go through them like toilet paper because he'd fire them all the time. Mel Brooks wrote for him and everything.
Wow.
And he was supposedly like a real jerk, and for like the first season of his show, he was the biggest thing on TV, and the second season, he kept losing writers because he'd fire them all the time, and the show turned to crap. So it was like 1951, it was big. 1952, it was nothing. And then he, did all of his movies, and he got known for being a dramatic actor. Red Buttons. He's in Poseidon Adventure.
Yeah, I know who he is, but I never really.
Well, yeah, because we've seen him on the Dean Martin roast, where he's like, so and so never got a dinner.
Yeah.
Cleopatra, who once said, whatever. No, the Nile's too deep. I'll wait till it gets shallow. But terrible.
Yeah.
So. But it was fun talking to Robert Knox from the Batman movie.
Yeah, I heard you did good. I got to hear that one.
I was happy with you, sir. I got to tell you, I'm not. I don't mean to sound like I'm patting myself on the back, but because I told Franco earlier, I'm like, I was a little worried I was stepping into Chris Farley territory. Remember when you did that thing? That was awesome. Oh yeah. and because I'm like, awesome. he votes for the Oscars. Ah, that's good. Yes.
Oh, is he?
He's on a committee. He's in the Academy, and I heard him on his own podcast kind of rattle off his rules on how he votes for the Oscars. And I said, if you don't mind, I'd really love for you to go over that right now. And he did, and it was hilarious. And it's great because he's literally like, this is like the Hall of Fame, getting an Academy Award nomination, let alone winning. He goes, when you die, that's the first thing that's in the obit, that you were an Academy Award winner. And he goes, so first of all, no kids. He's like, I'm sorry, I don't care how great you were at 11 years old in the Florida Project. You're 11 years old. This is a Lifetime Achievement Award. He goes, there's
sense.
only so many Jodie Fosters out there. He said, let's be honest. And he goes, and thankfully, she proved herself as an adult. And he goes, secondly, I always vote for my friends. He goes, and I admit it. He goes, but if they're being considered, they must be in some sort of quality piece of film. So writers, directors, actors, if I know them, I'm voting for them. And then he's like, no first timers. He goes, you got to be able to hit the ball out of the park more than once. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But
it makes sense.
And it's just, he's so passionate about when he's describing all of his rules. So that cracked me up, and I'm really glad he did that. And we talked about Arliss, his HBO show, and it was great because I am a huge Arliss fan. It's on, if you have HBO Go, you can get it on demand from HBO still and watch the episodes. And he was telling me that the disappointing thing is, and this is like a lot of TV shows, because nobody anticipated streaming or DVDs, they have to change the music a lot of times, and they'd have hit music in episodes to kind of make a joint or make a joke or make a point. And a lot of those, he said, they had to get cut out because they couldn't. It was too expensive to keep the music rights for streaming. So, because I remember,
like WKRP.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why WKRP isn't as much fun watching reruns now as it was originally because they changed all the music, and that sucks.
Yeah.
It's too bad. So there you go. I know you're tired. I'll let you go.
Oh yeah, I took off a bandage earlier, so I just gotta. Yeah.
Well, no problem, sir. No, and I realized that I didn't actually see the time. I'm like, oh, he's been talking for 3 hours. Let him rest. Time to rest.
Yeah, I'm glad you. I was glad to tell the fans.
Yeah, man.
Glad to tell our listeners. Like,
yeah.
Recouping. Yeah.
Well, we're glad it's another life-threatening illness that you walked away from, Artie. Way to go. We figured you got 7 lives left if you got 9 lives,
Yeah, I wait till the last possible minute to go to the hospital.
Maybe this time, that'll make you think about that. Because, again, we're in our middle age, sir. Well, Things are falling off our bodies. We can't help it.
The best thing about it is I don't have to wait when I get there. I'd get in there, boom.
That's true. Well, that's
get in the waiting room.
You're right.
You're going to die in 3 hours? All right, we'll take it right now. Yeah.
No, I understand. They did the same thing with my ankle. When they saw it, they're like, yeah, we're going to have somebody look at that for you right away. Why don't you come over here? And it's like, okay.
Yeah. I said, no, that's not a spider bite. We'll take you.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It's true. Well, I'm glad you're doing good, sir, and I know we're all relieved and good news, and continue to recover, and we will pod soon.
Heck yeah, man.
In the meantime,
just like today.
In between time, I like Pink very much, Louis.
Oh, yeah, I like Pink very much, Louis. It's good stuff. And thanks for listening to this 4-hour pod.
It's true.
We've been doing it a long time. Yeah. So we're curious what Star Wars is going to come, what comics. Walt Simonson is the best. And follow us when you see us. Go to all our websites and social media for the current updates of the happenings. You're a good man, Johnny. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye.
Attaboy. Good.